Spilling the tea with Sandy.
K-Man's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
Brought to you by J. Michael Fashion. Good morning, Sandy.
Good morning, Blake and Aaron. How are you guys doing this beautiful Thursday morning?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Great.
What do you got
All
for
right.
us?
So let's start out with the fact that the police are looking for a young man. So they're asking for the community's help in locating 15-year-old teenager Joshua Whitaker, who they say has been reported missing shortly after 5:30 p.m. on Sunday. Wow.
Okay.
He was last seen when he left his home in Georgetown around midday on Friday, November the 3rd, and he's not returned since. So he's been missing for almost a week.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What did they think?
Sorry?
What did they think? What did the police think?
I don't know. They never tell you what they think.
Okay.
Officers are encouraging Joshua to return home or to attend the nearest police station immediately. He's described as slim build, about 6'5", tall young man, and has a light brown complexion. And they've got his photo up on the website if you want to have a look, just in case you've seen young Joshua. So it's unusual for young men to go missing. We find a lot of young girls go missing, but this one is a little bit different in that regard. But hopefully young Joshua is safe and just forgot where he lived.
Yeah.
And needs to call mommy, call dad, call somebody. Yeah. So
hope he's okay.
Yeah, hope he's okay.
yeah, hopefully he's fine. So we've got a drunk driver who collided with a police patrol car. So that
I
would have
read
been
that
an easy
story.
arrest.
What a goofball.
Jeez.
That should have been a very easy arrest.
Wow.
So yes, they say that a police vehicle was rear-ended by a suspected drunk driver while on patrol in West Bay on Monday, the 6th of November. And reports are that around 1:15 a.m., a firearms response unit vehicle was on patrol. I know, of all the vehicles, was on patrol in West Bay in relation to the multiple firearm-related incidents over the weekend when it was involved in an MVA, where the police vehicle was rear-ended by another vehicle. The male driver was arrested on suspicion of DUI after a roadside breath test was conducted with a reading of 0.233%.
What?
Yeah.
That's when you know you've really messed up.
Yeah, listen, you knew you gotta be
into
sauced up to run into a police vehicle, though. Let's think about it.
Oh my gosh.
Insane.
I didn't even have to see the results to think, oh, this guy was really toasted.
0.233.
Yeah.
You'd be over the limit in the morning still.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
thankfully, no injuries were reported.
Wow.
However, the incident resulted in a police vehicle on duty during a significant crime event response being put out of service due to the actions of a drunk driver, which is a good thing because, they need to be on the roads, on the roadways. So that's kind of crazy.
well, listen, glad they nabbed that guy
Right?
Yeah.
and nobody got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they should tag on a little something extra for running into a police car, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Like property damage or something else. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's
Another year.
assault on a police officer.
Extra year suspended. Not that anyone
Oh, my
cares. They're all
goodness.
driving without.
Okay. Bit of good news for those of you who love a good public holiday. Emancipation Day is back. Cabinet has approved for Emancipation Day to be formally recognized and reinstated as a public holiday in 2024. But to be clear, it's not an additional holiday. It is simply going to be replacing a holiday. So it's going to replace Discovery Day beginning in 2024.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't work for our event. It's not going to be called the Emancipation Day event challenge, adventure challenge. Emancipation Day.
I don't know. You could come up with a new type of adventure challenge, I bet.
Emancipation Day adventure challenge. That doesn't have a ring.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out.
That does not have a ring
Did
to
the
it.
government consult us?
Please don't forget, folks, that this week the Cayman Islands will be celebrating Remembrance Day, and there's Remembrance Day ceremonies on Sunday, starting at 10:45 a.m. at the Emsley Memorial United Church in Georgetown. Attendees and participants are asked to be assembled and seated by 10:30 a.m. for the official Remembrance Day ceremony. And it precedes a public holiday, which is going to be observed on Monday, November the 13th.
Yep.
So explain the Emancipation celebration. I'm curious. Like, what is that exactly?
Well, emancipation is when everybody was emancipated from slavery. So it used to be a public holiday, and then it fell away, I think back in the 60s, if I'm not mistaken. And what's so funny is it might have been last year or the year before, we did a whole special on it and we called the premiere and he said, oh, he didn't know that people were that interested in bringing it back. So maybe we had a little bit of a role to play in that. And he said, they would certainly put it under consideration. So a lot of people are glad to see it back.
And so that replaces the celebration of Christopher Columbus.
That's right. A lot of people don't necessarily want to celebrate Christopher Columbus.
Right.
I get that.
Right.
Yeah. So they'd rather celebrate their perceived freedom of being emancipated.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right.
Emancipation Day Discovery Challenge.
We got to run in this side. You guys have a great day.
We'll work it out.
All right. Have a good one.
Okay.
I'm still trying to work that out.
Okay.
All right, folks. Give me 1 second here. We got to go live on the radio. I was running out of time there. Hold on. Oh, 30 seconds. Oh my gosh. So much to do in 30 seconds. Hello.
Bigger, better, bolder. The cold, hard truth is taking talk to the next level. Right here on Bobo 89.1 FM, Cayman's Community Radio.
We are still spilling the tea.
And committed to being part of the change that Cayman so desperately needs. Join Sandy Hill weekdays from 7:30 a.m. for Premier Access, Cayman Voices, Truthful Thursdays, and much more. Cayman's #1 talk show is now bigger, better, bolder, and more than talk. Getting results with hot topics, consumer reports, court exposés, and more.
I've come to set the record straight. I've come to shine the light on you. Let me introduce myself. I am the cold, hard truth.
Now, from the CMR studio in Grand Cayman,
Live, direct.
it's the cold, hard truth. Now, join the conversation on 345-936-2626.
That number again is
345-936-2626.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Rise and shine. How is everybody doing? Yes. Beautiful Thursday. Hello, Kima. Hello. Good morning. My apologies. I just realized that I hadn't selected the I had not selected the correct page. We have multiple Facebook pages, so I had selected the community one, which we only use as a backup. What a hot mess. Okay. Okay. Well, happy Thursday. Sending out the links to everyone. Let me see here now. Miss Vernita, good morning to you, darling. How are you? Diamond Princess, good morning. Shaka Zulu. Buenos dias. Says good morning, Auntie Sandy. Hello. Good vibes. Miss Juanita, how you doing, honey chill? We got lots to talk about today. Marshall is here. Nice to see you, Marshall. We have got Miss Felicia Rankin in the house. Good morning, honey chill. How you doing? Let me just check now. Miss Siobhan. Oh. Okay. We have a little guest coming in at 8 o'clock. So we'll talk a little bit with them. Damaris says, good morning, K-Man from Queens, New York. Nueva York, what's the temperature looking like now, Damaris? It must be getting, now, speaking of temperature, I did notice last night, did anybody notice the nice cool Christmas in the air? It was a noticeable change last night. So, a couple weeks ago while we were in Greece, you guys were saying you were getting the Christmas breeze. I don't know, that was a breeze, but I don't think that was a Christmas breeze because, it was just like a system kind of rolling through. This was a noticeable dip in the temperature. Like I could feel it was, I was like, okay then. All right, island people. The Christmas breeze is definitely here. The crispness in it, you could definitely decipher. Stephen, good morning. And, I like the changes in the season. I don't know about y'all, but I know we don't really get it here per se, but I enjoy a good little, fall and winter every once in a while. I haven't really experienced it in a while, but everyone, if you've only been an island girl or an island boy, I think everyone should spend a season, like a year away where you get to experience that a little bit. I feel like Florida used to have, especially in Tampa, we used to have more extreme weathers, like weather systems. It would drop like in the teens sometimes. I remember when I first moved there, China used to be bundled up and I'm like a little Caribbean 9-year-old. I'm like, what is this? Oh my gosh, it was so cold. And then over the years, you kind of got used to it. But when I was at USF, I remember having to get on my bicycle because those days, we had no car, people. We were poor, definitely poor. And, but, prioritizing our education despite everything. So I did have a little bicycle that I either walked everywhere. So I did a lot of walking, or I had a little bicycle. So sometimes I would ride to campus, not to campus, but right on campus once I was living across the street. But oh my gosh, when you're riding a bike and that wind, that cold wind is touching you in your face, it's a different kind of facial. Trust me. It's like freezing everything. But it was still a bit quicker to get to class than walking in that coldness. So you kind of just, bundled up as best you can. It was like 13 degrees outside. You bundled up and did the best that you can. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Yes, sir. All right, Patricia, good morning. Good morning to Miss Iva. Debbie is here. Atlas is in the house. Angel, buenos dias. ¿Cómo estás? Steffi, fabulous. Look at you. Good morning, Steffi. Speaking of which, are you not supposed to be messaging me, honey child? I'm looking at your profile picture going, wait a minute. Which Stephanie is this? Oh, that's Stephanie. I need to hear from you. Damaris says it's a little chill, but it's supposed to reach 60 today. Okay, 60 is still chill for us, but that's nice. Stephanie Brooks, good morning to you. How are you? Oh my gosh, I just got some news that I'm not ready for. You know when it's like good news, but you're still not ready for it? Ooh, honey child. Okay. I got so much going on in my head these days. Lots of projects. Stephanie knows she's helping me out with part of my project. Stephanie works over at, what's the name of your company there, Stephanie? One of those plant places. So she's helping me with a few little things, honey chill. Good morning to another Stephanie. Stephanie Brooks says, morning, Sandy and CMR family. Thursday, stay safe. Thank you, Miss Steph. Miss Alba is here. Buenos dias. Bonnie is in the house joining us from East End. Good morning to you, my lovely. Okay, so let's talk about a few things that, okay. A few things happening in the community. We know, you guys know already, we like to keep you up to date so that you know everything that's going on, everything that's popping off. Good morning to Miss Hilda. First of all, I received the most amazing phone call last night. I don't know who this woman is, but she called me and basically just to say thank you and that she was always keeping me in her prayers. And she thinks that it was just such a warm, fuzzy message, phone call. She's like, I think you're so amazing, Miss Sandy, and thank you for all that you do. This was a lovely Jamaican lady, and she said, she compared me to Moses, which please, I appreciate it, but I'm in no league with any biblical people, none at all. Oh, honey child, I'm so flawed, it's not even funny. But I try to be a truthful, flawed person. But yes, honey child. I got why she said it, and I certainly understood the analogy of, just trying to be there for people. I'm no deliverer. I'm not here to deliver anybody. The people should know that where their deliverance comes from, and that we can do so much really to help ourselves. It breaks my heart every day when I see people struggling, though. Sometimes it's not financial struggles. It's just they don't know where to go to for help. And so I got another phone call earlier in the day. This one was yesterday evening. I got another phone call earlier in the day. So somebody says, Moses and all those biblical people were all flawed. We all love what you do and your impartiality. Aw. Heart emoji. Thank you. That's so sweet. So someone else called me yesterday and they went to a particular government department to lodge a complaint. The person said to them, girl, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time coming here complaining to us. Just go to Mall Road, go to Sandy. And I was like, no, listen, there are complaint mechanisms in place. You can still come to me. I'm not saying you can't come to me, but follow those complaint mechanisms first. I was having another conversation this morning with a mom who is struggling with some issues where she's saying, her kids are in an abusive situation, thanks to her ex-husband and the new girlfriend or wife. I don't know if they're married yet, but she's really, really concerned. Her kids keep coming home with like bruises and this and that. And she's been trying to work with DCFS. She's reported to the MASH unit and they keep telling her, oh, there's no case here. Child, let's pray for a minute now, because you done know. I could not be in that situation with my child coming home with any bruises and y'all don't have an explanation. And the child's saying that somebody is putting hands on them because, I'm going to warm up my hands. And I'm going to say, Popo, if y'all don't do your job, somebody's going to get it. I understand when it's a child involved, how your heartstrings just are a little bit different. Children cannot defend themselves. And there's so many instances of abuse with children, physical, emotional, psychological, sexual, everything, that we all have to really work overtime to make sure that children are protected. So I can only imagine that parents' frustration. Now, divorces can be messy and complex. And, it's a bit of he said, she said, all kind of mixed up. And it's so sad because the poor children are the ones who always suffer with all of the drama. It's just, it's just unbelievable, let me tell you something. The Kardashians, I was actually watching, I'm trying to get caught up on some TV. So last night, Marlon worked late. And so I was at home and I thought, I'm going to watch me some Kardashians for change. Cause I'm all kind of episodes behind. I don't even know what's going on with them. So, I like to watch them. I live vicariously through them. And of course, Chloe's there with Tristan. Ugh. He gives me the bejeebers. He's so icky. One of these men that will never be faithful. Sweet lips Tristan about how, you're my person, to poor Chloe. Well, I'm hoping she's smarter than she used to be, because now she's like, well, if I were your person, why do you keep cheating on me and treating me like this? I was like, you tell him, Chloe. But, he got to work on her over time, and her family's working on her too. Oh, Tristan, give him another 100th chance. Oh, God. Some people are just who they are, and you just have to accept them for that. He's a cheater. That's just who Tristan is. He will never change. His game might get a little bit more refined, I suppose, and a little bit better. He'll be better at hiding stuff. But look at that. He went and had a baby out on this woman. Oh my gosh. As he's telling her, oh, go and have a surrogate baby with me. Tristan is just all kind of messy. And I hate to say it, but I'm not even surprised. Anywho, one thing I must say about her and the whole family is, despite the craziness, and they've got these relationships that are like uber crazy, and they're crazy and the men are crazy, but I must say that one thing they seem to really, at least from what we can see, we're not on the inside, so let's always take these things with a grain of salt, is they work really, really hard to try to remain and have a civil relationship with these individuals, these men, despite everything else. Maybe they're broken up, they're no longer married. They still had to try to have a good co-parenting relationship for the sake of the children. And you see them like doing stuff and making sacrifices that sometimes the public is not even aware of. Like, Kanye, for example. Kanye has mental health issues. I think he's been diagnosed with bipolarism, amongst other things, right? So I can only imagine the type of person he must be on a daily basis to deal with. Y'all see this relationship with his new wife and how he's like dressing her and controlling her. His MO is like the same. It's so easy after a while to see patterns of behavior with people, even in their relationships. He gets a woman that he can control. And even Kim, despite who Kim was, she was still very much controllable. Let me take and clear out your whole wardrobe and change all this about you. And, he loves control, and he loves control over women. He did it with, what was the first woman he was with the short hair, the blonde hair? I can't remember her name now. I'm picturing her. I can't remember her name. Anyway, he did it with her. And then when he's done with you, he does what's called slut shaming. Like, then he's going to make you feel like a horrible person. Every single relationship. Somebody remind me of her name, please. He does it with, right? Hold on. Let me tell you who she was dating. So it was, what's her name? He dates all these models as well. He has a type. So he dated this Shani person. She looks just like Kim, by the way. She looks so much like Kim, it's not even funny. Yeah, the stripper one. What's her name? But you know what? He found her like that. And in fact, just because she's a stripper doesn't mean that she's not a nice person. I think she actually is a really nice person from the interviews and stuff that I've seen. She's now Amber Rose. There we go. Amber Rose. So he dated Amber Rose. He's dated Alexis Pfizer, or whatever the heck her name is. I mean, he likes models. That's a thing, obviously, with him. Brooke, some girl named Brooke. Then there was Amber Rose. And, he even for a minute, oh my God, Salida Ebanks is on his list. On here, it says Salida Ebanks briefly dated Wes during late 2010. Good for her that she must have ran off. I didn't know Salida dated Kanye. Really? Jesus, girl, that would have been. Oh, but he wouldn't have probably messed with you because you got Caribbean crazy. You would have set his behind straight. It says model Salida Ebanks briefly dated the musician in 2010, walking several red carpets with the Grammy winner. She also starred in his 2010 music video for Runway. She did? I guess I'm not following her, but okay. And of course, Kanye is his most famous one. And then he's had, a few others and stuff. He's all over the rainbow, Julia Fox, but he has the same MO. So he gets with a young lady, and his first thing is, I want to change who you are. He found Amber as a stripper. That's who she was. And like I said, just because you're a stripper doesn't mean you're a bad person or anything. You just want to make $1,000 a month, apparently, a night. Showing a little flesh. But his immediate thing is, okay, then I change you into who I want you to be, and change how you look and how you dress. And the crazy thing about it is the way in which he changes them is like really weird and bizarre, because he's mentally, a little bit cuckoo. I mean, he's got some issues, right? So he dresses them in these bizarre outfits and has these bizarre rules that they have to follow. He is just next level. But he has a type, he has a pattern of behavior. And this is really, really important to recognize that most people are like this in relationships, right? So when you're sitting down, you're talking to somebody in the first date, you're curious about, oh, why are you single? You seem like such a nice person. Go and look at the pattern of behavior, because most people do not change their patterns unless they get some real professional help. And so Kanye does the same thing. He wants to parade them around, and, it's like a thing to be in a relationship with a model, and they're his little toys. They're like a little dolly for him. He's going to dress them. He's going to control them. He's going to, tell them everything to do. And then once the relationship has ceased and he's done with them, then all of a sudden, especially if they're a person with a strong personality, because despite him trying to control Kim still had a strong personality. Y'all saw that episode where he was telling her, oh, you're the mother of my children, not a WHORE out in the streets. And Kim was like, what? Girl, I would have got up and smacked Kanye right then and there on camera for all the Kardashian wannabe fans to see. You found Kim kind of being a certain person. The girl got a sex tape. Like, really? And again, I'm not saying that she's a horrible person for having a sex tape, because there's enough of y'all making sex tapes out there. Poor decisions. But she was not Mother Teresa. That's all I'm trying to say. You did not find her to be Mother Teresa. So it's just kind of weird, and then he gets all up in his feelings. And then once the relationship goes sour, he is going to annex you, put you through the grinder, make you out to be this horrible person, ostracize you. He goes on public radio. I mean, he went and talked about, when he got with Kim, he had to take 1,000 showers beforehand because Amber was so dirty. Kanye, try and hush him out. When you were all up between her legs, you were not saying that she was dirty. You were a disgusting little man, if you ask me, right? With some serious issues. I would not date Kanye West if he was the last man in the world. So they have all these men around them doing all kind of craziness. And then they have children with them. Two observations that I've made that's really, really interesting. They seem to really stick with these men. Even the other sister, Courtney. Look at how long she stuck with Scott. Oh my God. Scott would have been gone after baby number 1. But she stuck with him, his cheating and his disrespect. And, I don't know that that's a good trait, but for the sake of the children, maybe it offers some degree of continuity. And they always seem to want to have a good co-parenting relationship, even when they're not in a relationship with that person and they might not be good with that person. They seem to kind of put their feelings and their issues aside for the sake of the children. And I think that that's admirable. Sometimes it's a little bit crazy, but I do think that it's admirable if you can put the children first. That's the bottom line here, right? Try to put your children first. Relationships don't always work out. You can be the best people in the world and you're just not jiving as individuals for whatever reason. You've grown apart. She likes purple cupcakes and you allergic to purple cupcake. I don't know why y'all be falling out of love and whatever. You find somebody else who tickles your fancy a little bit more than the husband. Whatever the situation is, people separate, people divorce, people move on. I've never been one to really see a divorce as a failure. Now, hear me out. It's a bit of logic behind this. Because the way I see it, it is so difficult to live with somebody else. Have you tried it? Really, it can be a challenge. No matter how much you have in common and how much time you want to spend, sometimes it's just I just want my space. I don't want to be around anybody. I think it depends on your personality as well. But it's a challenge having this joint life together, right? You have your own opinions and decisions, and all of a sudden you got to give and take and listen. So if you give it a good try and you give it your best and it still doesn't work out, I don't see that as a failure. I see that as, what? You did your best. Even if you didn't do your best. Have you grown from it? Is there any degree of growth? Are you a better person because of that relationship? Have you learned some lessons in life? Then don't see divorce as a failure. See it as just a step in your progression. But folks, always try to put the children first, honey child. I mean, really and truly, children, when relationships do end, they go through their own difficulties. And, they don't always understand why maybe one parent isn't around anymore, especially if they're used to routine. Oh, dad takes me to school in the mornings. And if you separate households and dad can't do that anymore, your little ones are all kind of confused. They're all up in their feelings like, oh, daddy doesn't love me because, they think they're the reason of all this mess is going on. And you just have to be very, very, very supportive with your children when you're going through any kind of a separation or a loss of someone in their life, any kind of rooting of their routine. Try to think about them, have conversations with them. And this is a team effort. So both parents have got to be committed to really just focusing on the well-being of the children. And listen, fathers or mothers, when other people, come into your life, nobody comes before your kids. And I think this is a mistake, unfortunately, that a lot of people make. All of a sudden you got the new girlfriend and she might have kids of her own or whatever. And you feel like you have to prioritize her in order for her to stay around. I would suggest, that you not do that. Sometimes you should even get in a relationship that quickly. Just spend time reestablishing some new boundaries and some new rules that, you need for these poor children. So it's so sad what this mother was saying to me this morning. And I know that she's been going through a lot with her kids and this situation. Like I said, the most serious thing is that there are allegations of abuse. And of course, if that is true, then that is absolutely horrific. And I think that no father should allow any girlfriend or wife or whatever to be, putting hands on his kids with another woman, because you could understand even just the perception of that would be completely wrong. All right. So I do see that our guest has joined us just on time. Absolutely punctual. Miss Beverly, good morning.
Good morning, Sandy. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Great. Thank you very much. I'm sorry you can't take the British out of me. I am always punctual.
Is that a thing? Are Brits known for being punctual? That's good.
Last night I was told we're known for being punctual and standing in line and saying sorry.
Okay. I did not know that, but I love it. I love punctuality. So thank you so much, Beverly, for joining us this beautiful Thursday morning. So we're here to talk about the Breast Cancer Foundation. Yeah. Beverly, tell us what your role is at the Breast Cancer Foundation.
Well, thank you for inviting us on, Sandy. And before we I want to thank you and your whole team for your support during October Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Every single day you posted something, and it means an awful lot for us that we had your support. Mm-hmm. I'm the newly appointed Chief Administrator of the foundation since July. And that means that part of my role is awareness and the early detection program.
Yes, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for that. Now, I did visit you guys a couple years ago. I'm trying to remember exactly when that was. But you've got your office in Grand Harbor, and you can tell us about all the exciting stuff that's happening in relation to your office here in a second. But I have to be honest with you, I visited and I was so emotional during the visit that I just burst out crying. I know your staff must have been like, what on earth? But it's just one of those things that we all know someone who has been touched by this disease, by breast cancer. Sometimes they are survivors. And unfortunately, we also know people who haven't survived the battle. And so when I was there talking with the Breast Cancer Foundation team members about all of the amazing things that you guys do, I just became overwhelmed by everything, So tell us a little bit about some of the services that you do offer through your foundation.
Okay, well, it's interesting because obviously the team members did actually tell me about your visit, and they did tell me exactly what you've just said.
Yes.
Had our recent fundraising gala, and during that I gave an example of what we called a typical day, but there is no such thing as a typical day. So our doorbell will go and there'll be somebody who's been sent to us by a doctor who felt a lump and they require a mammogram voucher or an ultrasound voucher. So that's where we start our journey with the ladies and the gentlemen. So if you do not have insurance coverage, or if your insurance is exhausted, we provide free mammograms and free ultrasounds all year round, not just in October. This is a service that we run 365 days of the year. So the doorbell goes and there's a lady, and that's what she's there for. The doorbell goes again, and we've got somebody who is has just recently had surgery, and she's in need of either a bra, prostheses, maybe that she's had some of her lymph nodes removed, so therefore she'll need a sleeve. So we're there to provide that. We provide swimsuits, we provide for post-surgery. The doorbell goes again, and there's somebody who has just finished their chemotherapy. They've come to ring the bell to celebrate with us that their chemotherapy is over. And that person is wearing a wig that we've provided. We support people through their chemotherapy. We provide a cold capping service. There are machines in each of the hospitals in Cayman, and they're all provided by the Breast Cancer Foundation. They're not just for ladies and gentlemen with breast cancer. They're available for use for anybody that has cancer and is going through chemo. The next time the doorbell goes, it could be somebody who, after 8 or 9 years, their breast cancer has come back. So offer everything from the start of the journey all the way through, that should you be diagnosed, we're advocates. We'll go with you to the appointments. We've got bilingual team members. So if English is not your first language, we are more than happy to go with you to those appointments, because those appointments are hard. You know, you probably hear the word breast, you hear the word cancer, and you probably don't hear anything else. So team is happy to go with you to provide the support that you need. And we've actually gone one step further, and this year we've launched our self-awareness campaign, which is we're actually going out into workplaces, into the community, into government, and even into the schools and into the colleges, to say to people, what are you looking for? What are you feeling for? And to feel on a regular basis, so that if there are any changes, that you know immediately and get yourself to the doctor. Because at the end of the day, and it's our strapline, early detection saves lives.
I mean, wow, it sounds like you guys are incredibly busy. How many team members, do you have there?
There is just 4 of us.
Just 4. You guys are busy.
4 full-time members of staff, and an amazing support team of volunteers as well. In particular, when it comes to our cold capping service, that is a team of amazing volunteers. Yes.
Wow. So, your doors are not open just during the month of October. This is a fully manned, staffed office 12 months out of the year, and you guys definitely have a lot going on. I was so surprised at the sort of breadth of services that you do offer and the support that is available. And one of the amazing things that you do is you offer mammogram certificates for people who are not able to afford to have a mammography done. And of course, we know that this is one of the, key ways in which every woman should be, depending on your age and so forth, should be having a mammogram once a year, just to ensure that, you are aware of any changes with your breasts. Of course, breast self-exam should be done monthly. But again, this is a fantastic service that's available to people who simply, for whatever reason, can't financially afford it. So tell us a little bit about that particular offering.
Okay, so if you're not covered by insurance, or in this day and age, if your insurance has been maxed out because one visit to the doctor and your wellness portion can be used up, we offer free mammograms and free ultrasounds all year round. All we require you to do is to go to your doctor to get a referral. If you don't have a doctor, again, give us a call. We can recommend doctors in each of the districts who work with us, who will provide you with a discounted, if not free, visit to the doctor to get that referral. And it's all year round. And then we are incredibly lucky. We work with all the service providers on island. So, we recommend that you go back to where you've been before, just for continuity, so we can compare. But Day, Doctors Hospital, Health City and Ocean Med are phenomenal supporters of ours, and they work with us so that we can provide these mammograms and ultrasounds all year round.
Yeah.
And it's very simple. Literally turn up and here's a voucher.
Yeah. Fantastic. No, I mean, this is, even myself, I was sharing with some of our listeners that I did a mammogram this year in August. I try to do it around my birthday so I can always remember to get it done. And then I had to follow it with an ultrasound because they did see something on the mammogram that wasn't there last year. Thankfully, it looks like it's just fibrocystic breast, which a lot of women get. It's quite common. But, having that peace of mind of being able to have these exploratory tests done is so important.
Yeah, and that's, we are seen out there. We're big fundraisers, but this is the reason why everything that I've mentioned so far, and an awful lot more as well, is completely free of charge. There's no charge. A prosthetic breast is over $180. An arms, a bandage, they're over $250, and it's hot here. You need 2 or 3 of them. We bras for all of our survivors. They get 2 bras a year forevermore, but they're specialist bras, so again they run at $50 to $100. The swimsuits, and then also we're very well known for our wellness program as well, where we take a holistic approach to the recovery. We want to instill the joy of living rather than the fear of dying. So we have, the list goes on and on. We provide acupuncture, massage, physiotherapy, breathwork classes, mindfulness, exercise classes, yoga, art therapy, counseling, but not only for the lady or the gentleman, because it can happen to men as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we provide free counseling for them, their caregivers, their partners, and their family. And that's ongoing as well. In 5 years' time, you're completely cancer-free, and you may wake up one morning with dreadful anxiety because it's been 5 years and I've felt something. And what is it? You just call us up and the appointment is made. Yes.
This is amazing. And I love that you support the people who support the person who has the diagnosis, because a lot of women or men will have spouses and other family members who are there trying to be supportive of them, but they need support too.
Oh, absolutely. And if anything, that's probably is more important. With my professional background, the one thing I always say is, who cares for the carer?
Yes.
And you need to be, you're trying to be strong. In most cases, it's a male, but it could be a sister, it could be an aunt, it could be a best friend that you're supporting. And it's just incredibly important. So again, our doors are open, our phones, and we just say to people, just pick the phone up, call us, send us a WhatsApp. We don't inundate you, but you know that we're there. Our supporters spoke recently at 100 Women Who Care, and said at that time, I'm a professional female. I don't need the Breast Cancer Foundation. How wrong was I? Who do I ring at 10 o'clock when I'm scared and when I'm frightened? And that's what I'm there to instill, the joy of living. And you know what, Sandy, early detection truly does save lives. I was at a meeting about 10 days ago with the Lions Club of Tropical, who do an amazing job throughout October. Hats off to them. We actually support them in October rather than the other way round. And Dr. Benitha Benoit, who is the oncologist at Health City, was talking, and she said when she arrived on Ireland 8 years ago, 70% of the breast cancer she saw was at stage 4. That's a late diagnosis. This year, between January and the beginning of October, 70% of the breast cancer she saw was at stage 0 or stage 1. That is, you recover from that. You have a 99% chance of recovery. If that figure alone doesn't tell you that you should be regularly checking your breasts for anything and getting regular ultrasounds and mammograms, I don't know what will. 70%. We've completely turned it. And she said it's as a direct result of our early detection program.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. Makes you have goosebumps.
No, definitely. Fantastic. I mean, this is really, really amazing. Well, Beverly, thank you so much for coming on this morning. Tell us how people can reach out to you. And by the way, share a little bit about the exciting news of what's happening at your office location.
Yes. So to everybody, Sandy wanted to come in and visit us, and I asked her if she could just wait till the new year. We are actually taking the space next door to us, so we're doubling our space, which is absolutely amazing. So we're doubling the space of what is currently called the bra room, but we're thinking of a name. So if any one of your listeners can think of a good name for it. So we're doubling the space of our bra room. We're having a set counselling room, so counselling will be available all the time. A treatment room, so some of our amazing service providers can actually come to us and the ladies can come to us. We're going to have 2 quiet spaces, so if we have a day like I described where the doorbell is going constantly, if somebody's just coming to pick up a mammogram voucher, we don't necessarily want them sat next to somebody who's just had a diagnosis. We're going to the space next door to give us a set administrative area, and then the most exciting part of it all is we're going to have a multi-purpose room so that we can actually offer some of these services we're talking about all through the day. So there'll be classes, drop-in spaces. It's very, very exciting, and so thank you to all our supporters and our sponsors who are helping us make this possible.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So again, your office is located
in Grand Harbour, space 18 and 19, next door to what was Papa John's.
Okay.
If you're looking at Hurley's, we're to the left-hand side.
Yes. Okay. And how can people reach out to you? Website, email address, social media?
So we're on social media. So we're on Instagram, BCF Cayman, Facebook, BCF Cayman. We have our website, which is breastcancerfoundation.ky, or you can call us on the office number, which is 923-1135, or you can email the team at info@bcfcayman.com.
Okay, and Sue says morning.
Out to Cayman Mile Road, and Miss Sandy will put you in touch with us, because again, thank you so much for your daily posts. It really
You're welcome. You're welcome. And Ms. Sue says, morning, Beverly, well done what you're doing to help everyone. So again, folks, the Breast Cancer Foundation does an amazing job. They're really one of those NPOs in the Cayman Islands that makes an amazing difference in the lives of people. So support them in any way that you can. I'm sure they're always looking for volunteers, right, Beverly?
Absolutely. We are always looking for volunteers in any way, shape, or form. Whatever your talent is, we will be able to find a use for it.
All right, so do give them a call, reach out to them. They're active on social media. You just had it would have been in October that you would have had your big gala event as well.
We had our big gala at the beginning of October, and we brought down Knowles, who is Beyonce's father, who is a major breast cancer survivor, and he talked about the importance of early detection, and he talked about self-awareness.
Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing. And watch this space. I think at the cinema at the moment, there the Taylor Swift movie is on at the moment. I'm not a Swiftie, but in December, I'm going to get. Okay, let's give you a Mile Road exclusive.
Ooh, well, we love an exclusive here in Mile Road.
Exclusive. If we can persuade the cinema to bring down the Beyonce movie, we're going to the whole cinema and show her movie, and the money will come to the Breast Cancer Foundation. But one person that attends will have the opportunity to win 2 tickets to see Beyonce live that Matthew Knowles has given us.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing!
So you've got the movie.
That's really good news. That's okay. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
All right. Well, yes, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandy. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on this morning. Again, folks, reach out to the Breast Cancer Foundation. Do you happen to have, just out of curiosity, Is his speech from the event available anywhere for us to watch?
Well, we have got it, so we're just putting it together at the moment. So I will be able to send you a link so that you can look at it. We're going to put it on our YouTube channel. It's just being tidied up by.
Okay, I'll share that. I'll share that with our listeners maybe one morning during the show. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was very inspirational.
Yeah, and the great news is over $500,000 was raised at this event.
And now you know why we.
Yeah.
Such big, because everything we do, as I did a short speech myself, and I said in 2023 the only thing that is free are the words of compassion that we share with everyone. Everything else costs, unfortunately.
Yeah, and the governor has also been named as a new patron for the Breast Cancer Foundation, so that's absolutely wonderful.
Which was phenomenal. She came on board. I asked her, and I was thinking, maybe I'm pushing it. She's so busy. Just said, you don't need to explain it. Yes, please. I would like to be your patron.
Wow. Fantastic.
Thank you, Her Excellency.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Thank you so much, Beverly.
Thank you very much. And thank you for listening, everyone. And come find us either on social media or just come down to our offices in Grand Harbour and come and visit us.
Okay. Wonderful. Thanks. I appreciate it. All right, folks. Beverly Edgington, working there with the Breast Cancer Foundation. Please go visit them. You can check out their website, breastcancerfoundation.ky. They've got a presence all over social media. And again, I like what she said, nothing's free but the kind words that they have to offer. Everything costs. And so their fundraising efforts, which allow them to offer these services at no cost to the public, extremely important. Volunteer. A lot of us have some extra time in our hands, and it doesn't have to be a lot of time. Maybe you've only got, one Saturday a month, or, one evening every week that you can make yourself available. But once you've been in a situation where you have had a diagnosis and you've had to use the services of an organization like the Breast Cancer Foundation, you really recognize the important work that they do, folks. I mean, it's just absolutely phenomenal. And like I said, I got so emotional when I went and did, the visit there. I was just overwhelmed with everything. So, oh God, they must have thought I was crazy. They're like, what on earth is going on here? I just was talking to them and I couldn't help myself. I literally just burst out in tears. It was just being in that environment and hearing the stories. And, I think that they hear it every day, and they obviously deal with people every day, that they have a coat of armor, and I just don't. So I was just like bawling, and they just handed me some tissue and they're like, it's okay. This happens. Like, people have this kind of response. But it's just amazing work that they do. So thank you so much to the Breast Cancer Foundation. So of course, October, we've just left Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but don't let your guard down, folks, when it comes to your breast health or anything else. Just because it's not October doesn't mean that you can't, not go get a mammogram. Prioritize your health as much as you possibly can. So Ms. Carla was saying, hey, to Bev, we've got Sue McLaughlin says, yes, the career really needs help. Be it the wife or hubby or any family member. I know I did it with my hubby. The carer, sorry, really needs help. Yes. Good morning to Miss Lucille. Miss Lucille says a very good morning to you. Hit a point this morning, Sandy. Some of the mothers are very spiteful, and it hurt the child who's not responsible. I don't have young kids, but I have great grand where the mother is wicked. Oh, Lord have mercy. And using my great grandson against me. I love that child so much, but if my grandson and listen to me to learn to know people first before run into marriage and get children to use as a tool against each other. Sandy, I have a lot more to say. Ooh, honey child, that sounds like pure family drama. Yes, I mean, like I said, it's unfortunate when children get caught up in these types of situations. Take a book out of, at least the Kardashians seem to kind of get this part right. Take a book out of their playbook where they try to really, protect their kids and stuff as much as possible. The episode I was watching last night, Kim was admitting to not being a very strict parent, and that, because the father is no longer around, she's hired a manny. Never even heard of a damn manny before, but there you go. Nanny with an M, a manny. So it's a nanny who's a man, in case you didn't figure it out. So she has hired a Manny to kind of have a male energy and presence around them. And in fact, I take my hats off to her because I think that's a really good idea. She's got 2 girls and 2 boys, I think. Her eldest is a girl. And then I think she has another girl named Chicago. And then she's got, I think the other 2 are boys. I think she's got 2 of each. Then there's Saint is a boy. And then what's the other kid's name? I can't remember. But there's another one who I think she's got 2 boys and 2 girls. But boys do require, and not just boys, in fact, girls require a male energy around them as well. And if you are a single mother, you can't always do it on your own. So what you should do, just take my word for it. Even if it's an uncle, make sure it's somebody you trust now. It can't be the uncle that rumors have been circulating around him being a child molester all these years. I'm just saying. Psalm, thank you, Jamila. Jamila's like, girl. Yeah, so 2 boys and 2 girls, right? So, having a male energy, a positive male energy around your children can certainly bring balance to their lives. Always, try to, like I said, you got to make sure it's the right person. I'm all about supervision. Maybe more than one person goes out on that fishing trip. You don't let that uncle take them out by themselves, Okay, but male energy around children is really, really important. Girls need it. Little boys need it. Probably, I don't want to say more or less because I think, the statistics show that young girls who grew up in a household without a male figure tend to be more promiscuous. They're going to start having sexual relations early because they're out there looking for daddy's love, right? Find a father figure. They're amazing nonprofit organizations, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, which I think has now changed their name to, I can't remember what it's changed to, but they've changed their name. They've done a rebranding exercise, but they're a wonderful organization that allows your kids to spend some time with, just going out and doing stuff together and maybe taking them to a baseball game, or you got Cayman Classic coming up. Somebody can take your boys to that event, or your girls. Your girls might like basketball as well. So, seek that out if you're a single mother who is, struggling on your own to kind of hold it all together, because I can imagine that it is challenging a lot of the times. So Vanessa says, I was a single mother. Trust me, I have a wonderful daughter. Good morning to Miss Parky. How are you? Vanessa says, yes, she had 4 children. And so what a ting, child, what a ting. All right, let's keep it moving. So did you guys see the video footage of the refrigerator thief, the grocery thief? Oh, Lord Jesus. Let me see if I can find him, honey chair. Let me bring this video up. Where did I save this one? I'm trying to remember. I may not have saved it on, hold on, it might still be on my phone. So this guy decides that he's going to go into somebody's kitchen and help himself. What a wicked little man. But you know what? He's on drugs, from what the streets are telling me. Apparently his name is Andy Miles, I believe. And so when people are on drugs, nothing surprises me. Absolutely nothing that they do surprises me. It's just so sad because, listen, kids, nothing good comes out of drug use, right? Just take a look at the world around you and you will see that, my God, who steals somebody's groceries? Well, who steals somebody's groceries is a person who has a serious addiction, and they're just looking for anything that they can sell out in the streets. People sell themselves in the name of drugs. They sell, my God, they come steal your food and sell it in the name of drugs. They will sell and do anything to be able to get a hit off of whether, I don't know exactly what his drug of choice is, if it's the actual crack or cocaine or whatever it is that he's into. Try to stay away. I've never really seen someone whose drug story, like they're going to tell you, oh yeah, I'm happy being on drugs and it really has improved my life. It deteriorates the quality of your life. You're lucky if you get out with your life. And it's just such an absolutely sad situation. So here he is going into somebody's house. Let me just break this down, honey child. He leaving the very refrigerator open so you see bill gonna be higher. This dude, look, well, that's a good picture of him. And I think it's great that they had a camera in their house. Look here, taking out all of their groceries. Is that a bag of chicken that he just took out the freezer? Then he goes in the cupboards. He is grocery shopping in somebody's house. Got him, found a grocery bag, and look, helping himself to the groceries out of these poor people's homes. Look at dropping stuff all over the house now, being messy with it as well. He was looking right there at the camera as though he knew that he was on camera. Look at what his shirt says, single. It's like the Pringles guy, but it says single. Boy, Andy, I don't know what your story is, but please get yourself some help and return these people's groceries. You are a despicable man. Look at him. Look at him. Now, here's the sad thing about it. The poor people, unfortunately, don't have a lot of money. They are, Filipino workers here in the Cayman Islands, really trying to make ends meet. And this is what they said. They said, "Hi, CMR, we'd like to ask for your assistance in tracking down this thief. He stole all of our groceries from our apartment." And that was late last night around 3 a.m. So this would have been Tuesday morning, basically. And they say now we're in hardship because that's our budget grocery for the week. They live there in the Soundway apartments behind A.L. Thompson's. And in addition, other tenants' groceries were also stolen. So, again, a lot of Filipinos will share. So they had like room 1, room 2, room 3. And they, have, sometimes they pool their resources together for groceries and so on. So I tell you what we're going to do this morning. You guys know we like a feel-good moment here on CMR. So let's give this gentleman a call. When can Flo give me my toll-free number? All right. Anyway, we're going to spend money on the phone call. Let's give him a call. Mm-hmm. All right. Marshall says he wouldn't want those groceries back.
This number does not subscribe to a voicemail box.
Let's see if we can. Maybe he's at work already this morning. Let's give him a call via WhatsApp. He might answer. Still kind of early. All right, let's give him a call in a minute. But here's what we're going to do this morning. We're going to help him with replacing his groceries. But don't tell him. It's going to be a secret when we call him. All right, we'll see if we can get a phone call with him this morning. This is horrible. Stealing groceries to support your drug habit. What a mess. Sandy says he's single too, looking in the camera. Ciao. Carlos Lobo in the house says, keep crystal meth out of Cayman. The level of addiction is horrifying. Well, not just crystal meth, folks. We've got fentanyl, we've got crack, we've got cocaine, we've got all sorts of drug addictions that are out there, that unfortunately can really wreak havoc on your life. Don't touch the stuff. Don't even begin, because then, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't tend to end well. There was another video circulating over the weekend. I'm not sure if you guys saw this one or not, but again, this is another example. I can't play the video because there's so much profanity in it. Kevin would be bleeping out every other word. But there is Mr. Odell Suarez, who apparently seems to be struggling with some form of addiction. I mean, it's obvious that it's addiction, and he has just kind of gone off the deep end a little bit. Not a little bit, quite a bit actually. And he's posting all this stuff on social media. So he did one video, which that one we could play, but the second one, where basically I think what happened was people were contacting his family members about his hold on, let me just get the video link here. People were contacting his family members about the first video, which obviously they found to be concerning. And then in the second video, he was addressing those individuals who decided to call his mom and sisters, and I don't know who else they called. But I mean, he was just on a rant, cursing y'all out left, right, and center about you Jezebels and your this and your that, and contacting his oh my God, it was shocking to actually listen to. And unfortunately, Odell has been on this downward spiral for quite some time. Remember, in fact, that a member of this current government had put him up for a board, and that was a really poor decision, because not long after his board appointment, he was actually in court for a cocaine charge. And I'm the one who sent him a message saying, in case you missed the memo, he's up for a cocaine charge. Y'all might want to remove him from that board immediately. This is not a good look for the government or anybody else, for that matter. So, they did end up removing him. It's just an unfortunate situation. He had a business, and he at one point, seemed to have been doing all right. And then he has just really gone downhill. Again, it seems like it's drugs. I'm trying to see if I can find, where did I just put this video? It is so apparent what is going on here, but it also is very, very heartbreaking. I mean, it's sad to see our people really turning down this road of self-destruction, essentially. Let me just see where this video is. Okay, give me 1 second here. It's just, oh God. If there was a magic wand out there somewhere where I could eliminate all drugs in the world, I really would. Even some of the prescription drugs, if we didn't need them, I might get rid of it all, because it's just shocking what happens to people. But here he is. And again, he's posted this publicly, so you can go on his page if you wish to see it. It is a public video. But this was the first one that caused, and he did this on November the 2nd, that caused people to go, wait a minute. But he's been doing videos for a minute now. And the thing about social media that's interesting is it allows people to have some insight into, if you're sharing stuff on social media, it allows people to have some insight into your deterioration, if you will. And I don't know that that's a good thing. Before, maybe, I don't know how to feel about it, because before there was some mystique, I guess, about what drugs do to you. Now people are being very, very public about it and showing everything. And so, he does these lives on a regular basis, and he does not even look like the same person, which is so unfortunate.
I was actually thinking just now, and I was like, the Psalms of David. I just read the Psalms of David, right? I just read Psalms 1 to, I think, probably 4 or something like that. But here's the thing. Do you know in the English language that the S is an interchangeable, because it's infinity disconnected, yeah? Broken infinity. So it has the ability to be interchanged. If you are going to change a word, a letter in a word, you have to put an S before it, so that those who know the devices and vices of the language can use it as the key. So when they say Psalms, You notice that Psalms is spelled SP. Psalms are not, there's no such thing as Psalms. It's an arm. It's an arm unto the Creator. It's an arm. It's an alm, and that's where the word then come when you say amen. But it's an alm, A-L-M. That would be the best pronunciation to it. I don't know. I'd have never researched anything, but I can tell you that that information that I just gave you pertaining to Psalms, being the P got added inside there, it is arms, not Psalms. There is no such thing as Psalms. It's an arm. Almighty, it's an alm unto the Creator. Boom. Wisdom that just dropped, just like that.
It's so sad. I mean, you can look at his physical appearance. There's been, a deterioration of his physical appearance. There's obviously a deterioration of his mental stability and stuff as well. And it's just unbelievable. Listen, you will never be the master over any drug. Anything that you can't control, it controls you. So you can't be the master. You can't be like, oh, I'm just going to smoke a little bit of crack. I'm just going to, snort a little bit of cocaine. No, there's no such thing. It will destroy your life. And I don't know if the prevalence of it is increasing in Cayman, or like I said, because people are doing things like taking to social media and showing us. If I had told you this story, you would be like, oh, Odell's on drugs? I don't think so. But when you see him, when you see the appearance, when you see the deterioration, it's a very, very different situation. So it's so sad because, putting putting your own life out there. And we've seen more and more of it happening, where someone who's addicted to drugs decides to have these moments where they're trying to give you some insight, which doesn't make any sense. I was so confused by what he said. I don't know what on earth he's talking about. But, as Shaka Zulu said, Sandy, he's definitely exuding signs of substance abuse, no doubt, of course. It changes your physical appearance. Like, it changes so much about you, and it destroys your entire life. He has lost his business. He has, a lot of clients out there that he owes countless money to. I mean, they've been reaching out to me for quite some time, and I have tried to reach out to Odell to say, hey, but, I recognize that those people, unfortunately, they were investors in his business that he had there, that they would never see that money again. That money was snorted, it was smoked, it was something, and, put into whatever lifestyle it was that he was trying to support. Some staff members were left without, having gotten paid salaries and stuff like that. So it's just unbelievable. It really, really just is such a sad case. Evicted from where he was because he didn't pay rent for like a year, and the landlord, finally evicted him from that commercial property. I know some of you were using his services for like immigration purposes and whatever. You better make sure and check, make sure that your permits were actually put in, properly, because now your businesses might be impacted, unfortunately, by his inability to get the job done and to do certain things. And he's not, we're not picking on Odell, because he's certainly not the only case of severe drug addiction, and you just see the demise of people. We've talked about, the guys over at CHS, what's it called? Cayman Hearsay, the exact same thing. There's been, and that's a couple, we've seen the demise of those individuals again, Caymanians. They had businesses, I guess they were doing okay up to a certain point, and then the businesses have faltered. They were evicted as well from their commercial location by the airport. They owe a lot of people money. They were also processing permits and stuff for people, and people were complaining that, those things didn't get done either. So, he wrecked somebody's car. Odell wrecked somebody's car, never paid for it back. I mean, it's just a hot mess. It's just a hot mess. And in a community as small as Cayman, the sad reality of the situation really is that unfortunately, you are now, if you don't quickly get help, you are also impacting your future chances of even job opportunities and stuff in this community. And, I don't know exactly how old Odell is, but I'm thinking maybe 40s. These people have children, they have mothers and siblings and stuff that actually really care about them and want to see them get clean, and to see this level. And a lot of these guys are smart, they might have some business savvy or whatever, but their talent is being completely wasted when you see them in a situation like this where the drugs have just taken over. And so, folks, Nikki says, DWL Sandy, what kind of foolishness are you playing? You have children listening. Has he ever gotten help? Well, I hope that children are listening, because if children are listening, the message that I want them to clearly take away from this is drugs will destroy your lives. Don't even take the first puff. Don't make anybody tell you, oh, you can do this one time and you can walk away. You might not live to even walk away, but even when you live to walk away, you can see how destructive drugs can be on your life. We've got people in Cayman Brac, the exact same situation. It's almost like a blueprint for disaster, where they are having to beg on the streets, and they're informants, and they're doing all kind of behavior. They're prostituting themselves. They're doing all sorts of stuff because of that drug addiction, and because they've got to feed that habit. So whether it's Mr. Andy here, Andy Miles, stealing your groceries, or somebody streaming on social media talking pure nonsense and foolishness and whatever, the addiction is real, and it is real, and it's apparent, and it's just sad, is what it is. Absolutely sad. So this person says, for having read 4 chapters of Psalms, he still can't spell the word. He says that Psalms begins with an SP, as in SPALMS. Well, honey child, you're lucky anybody in drugs can spell. So, yes, Psalms is actually PSALMS, in case y'all wondering. But keep reading the Bible, honey child. So, young people, don't mess with it. Now, I know some of y'all get up in your feelings. Don't even mess with marijuana. Anything that is, try not to even take a pain pill if you can help it. Trust me, because you got oxycodone. People are getting addicted to that. There's just so many crazy addictions out there. So Ms. Darlene says the main thing here is to get to the root of what is causing our young people turning or getting on drugs. It's so sad. Well, Ms. Darlene, I'm glad that you said that, actually, because let us be very, very honest. And I'm not going to speak on anyone specifically here, but there are a lot of known reasons why people are turning to drugs, because there are sometimes a history of abuse. They have endured abuse. This is one of the reasons why I'm a strong advocate of stamping out abuse in our communities, because when we have kids who've gone through adverse childhood, situations, listen, you guys know it's a lot harder to fix a vase when it's broken into 1,000 pieces, right? We have broken children. They're coming from broken homes. They're coming from abusive situations. They're coming from situations where maybe parents or other family members were addicts and they were exposed to that. That's one issue that rears its head a lot, Miss Darlene, as to why people then are struggling with drugs. Another issue, drugs and other things, right? Another issue is that a lot of people cannot come to terms with who they are. And I want to say this with as much sensitivity as I possibly can, while still telling you all the cold hard truth. There are people who are gay, lesbians, bisexual, whatever term you want to give them. And because they can't accept that that's who they are, because they don't live in a society that accepts that, we live in this machismo community society. We're anti anything to do with LGBTQ. There's no support system here for these individuals, or there's very little support, I should say, for these individuals. And they are afraid of coming out, and they are afraid of being who they are. And believe me when I tell you, you cannot You can hide who you are, but you can't hide who you are, if you know what I mean. So you have two choices. You can continue to succumb to the pressures of your community, of your family members, and pretend to like women and pretend, have a child, pretend to be married in these relationships or whatever. Or you can just be honest and say, hey, I'm a gay man and I don't care what y'all think. I'm, going to live my life. And ultimately, I'm going to just live my life. And the struggles that people face, and I've seen it countless times, but I think in a small community like Cayman, it's so much more difficult. But the struggles that people face here, not being able to be who they are, it seems to be gut-wrenching for them. I've spoken to some of them and I'm just like, my God, I couldn't do it. If I were a lesbian, I'd be like, I don't care what y'all think. I'm a lesbian, just leave me alone. You don't have to put your personal business and your personal life out there, but people try to hide who they are. They try to pretend and be something that they are just not. I know a lot of gay men in Cayman who are married, have kids. They're like, this is not the life that I want. In fact, I'm going to tell y'all a story. Of course, I would never divulge who this individual is, but one night I was at home and I remember quite clearly because I was in my kitchen and it was Marlon and then another friend. And that other friend, although he's never admitted to me to being gay, bisexual, whatever, I believe that he's bisexual. He's never, ever said it to me. But, I know we know these things. In fact, he might be entirely gay, and the bisexual part that I'm thinking is because, again, he's trying to date women because that's what society expects him to do. And so I got a phone call. Now, it's unusual for people to call me at midnight, I must admit. And I'm thinking, oh my God, somebody has died. This is an emergency. And so I answered the phone and I'm like, are you okay? And the person, I could, after a couple seconds, see that they had had a few drinks and they were talking to me and they're like, oh my gosh, I got to talk to you. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. What's going on? Now, this isn't someone that I'm like, I know the person, they're a business person in this community, well-connected family. I mean, well connected family. You would be shocked, but of course I ain't gonna tell you. And I was thinking, why would they be calling me if they need help? Like they've got so many resources available to them. They could call anybody in Cayman. That's how well connected they are. So I thought, oh my God, this must really be bad if they're calling me. And so they started to talk to me and they're like, Sandy, I've got something to tell you. And I was like, okay, what's going on? And at first I had them on speakerphone because I didn't know what the context of this conversation was going to be. And my husband, Marlon, like having a side eye, like, who's calling you at midnight? Like, what kind of phone call is this? And so this person was like, oh, I got to tell you that I like men. And I was like, pump the brakes. This kind of conversation, I was like, oh, okay. Now, I've had people come out to me before, like I was the first person when I was in university, that this guy, his name was, oh God, his name almost just came to me. Oh, I can't remember now. But anyway, little Georgie came out to me. We were driving. George came out to me, ran a red light and almost killed me. I was like, George, believe me, it's not that kind of a secret that you got to tell me and then kill me, okay? I'd like to continue to live. So anyway, he's like, I got to tell you, I really like men. I said, okay. I remain very calm when I get news like this, honey child. I don't start doing backflips and getting like, what? What the hell is wrong with you? I'm like, okay. And okay. Like, it's not really a big deal. I mean, although you're a married man with children, okay, tell me what do you want me to do? Like, what is this all about? And he started to talk about, how he's into men. And I said to him, I said, tell me something. You're obviously married with kids. Does your wife know that you like the company of a male companion in a sexual way? Oh no, nobody doesn't know. My family doesn't know. My mom doesn't know. This one doesn't know. Oh my God, my businesses, my name, my reputation would be ruined. And I'm like, wow. So you're living this double life. I said, nothing done in the dark stays in the dark. So one day, this is going to come out. And you know what? You're going to hurt this wife to the core. Like, it would be better if you just maybe tell her that you've come to this realization. I mean, I don't know how long it took you to come to this realization. You're an adult, I don't know, like, but you need to have that conversation with her, because I think people eventually find out, especially your wife. And you could be putting her at risk in so many ways. Like, I would want to know, like, you should never put a woman in that position, or a man in that position, where this is a secret that you're keeping. Make them decide whether or not they want to try to work out a relationship like this where you're attracted to men. Because you know what's happening when he goes on business trips and he has a little bit more freedom overseas and all kind of stuff. And I find that when people are hiding it, they're probably not taking as many necessary precautions with their own health. So by extension, as a spouse, they're putting your life at risk. And that makes me, I don't like that. So anyway, that's where I have a problem. So anyway, he said to me, no, he wasn't at that point where he could come out and deal with it. And I thought, wow, the struggles that people are facing in this community, because they are afraid of the judgment. That's what this is all about. They're afraid of the judgment. His, 60-something-year-old mother would never understand. She would disown him. She would, oh, you can't be in the family business. You can't do this. I was like, my God, it is so sad. And then the person went on to start to say, well, how can I meet guys? I said, whoa. I'm not really into the dating scene here, and I can't help you with that. I said, the first thing you need to do before you even start to talk about meeting anybody is you need to come out to the people around you that love you and just be honest. But I know that I'm saying that to someone, and it's like sending somebody on a suicide mission, saying, yep, go on this suicide mission and it's going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? I understand the real life implications of having to deal with that in a community that wants to hate people for something that they cannot help themselves with. So it's just sad. I don't know. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, morning, Sandy.
Morning, Alejandro.
Boy, I hear you talking about this homosexuality thing, right? With the substance abuse part, because in me, I smoke my ganja, and I have a few gay friends, and I don't discriminate them or anything like that. I don't shun them or anything. But I tell you what, I found out a few things about some of the gay people that I've met.
Okay.
And majority of them that I know come in a little too aggressive with their communication parts, where I don't know if it's the lack of sexual intercourse that they has, but it comes in like they don't have they hide behind the sheets, where they pretend to be someone that they're not. So, for example, now, they use social media to make these catfish profiles, and like, say for example, this is a gay man, and this gay man wants attention from another man, but say they can't find another gay man, they'll try to get to a straight man and pretend to be a woman. And to me, that's the part that bothers me. I think I sent you a picture.
But Alejandro, let me say this. Let me say this. I mean, I don't know what kind of people you're talking to or whatever, but the vast majority of people are not into catfishing anyone, right? And I don't know how many. Sorry.
You don't know that.
I do know that. And I happen to know a lot of people who have come out, a lot of people who haven't come out, who, have lived this lifestyle, whether it's hidden or in the open. And I can tell you 99% of them have no interest in a single man. Why would they want a straight man? Why would they want a straight man? They want to be in a proper relationship just like everybody else. They're not looking at you thinking, oh, Alejandro is the cat's meow. We want him just because he's straight. I do know that.
How do you know that?
I do know that.
No, Sandy.
Because I have spoken, and I know tons of gay, bisexual, whatever people that fall in that group. So I do know that.
Yeah. Say, for example, you're a straight woman and you met a gay man, but the gay man didn't tell you he's gay and he is attractive to you, and you think that you have
So a
some
gay
close
man
relationship.
doesn't tell me
Let's say
he's
that
gay,
you
but
have
he's
a close.
attracted to me, then he's not a gay man. He's actually
This is, this
bisexual.
is,
He
this
wouldn't
is,
be attracted to
this
me
is,
if
this
he was
is,
a gay
this is,
man.
this is the thing, Sandy. If you can find someone you can relate to, someone that you can communicate to, someone that you can sit down, have a drink, talk to, read a book, have coffee, whatever it is that you want to do, go at lunch, and then when you come to find out that you've grown attached to this person, he never came out of the shadows, so you saying that he's gay or anything like that, and you're confused, you're left all
No,
confused, saying that you
child.
like this person.
Alejandro,
Sandy, you're
trust
not in
me.
that
I don't know
position.
what kind of
You're
relationships you
not in
be
that
in,
position.
but no, that don't make no sense. No,
Okay, well, if
no,
that doesn't make sense to you, make
no.
a gay man explain it to you then.
I like I said, I've got a lot of friends who are gay, and I know exactly what the score is. That's ridiculous, right? What you're describing, or you have coffee with someone, you like to read a book, that's called a friend. You know, you can enjoy somebody's company, you can have a lot in common with someone, you can have great conversations with someone, and it doesn't mean that you're sexually attracted to them or you have to jump in bed with them. That can just be an acquaintance or a friend. I have never met a gay man, and like I said, I have a long list of people in gay man that I would consider good friends. Well, you know, my friend list is actually really short. Good acquaintances who happen to be gay. And let me tell you the one thing, the only question that I've ever gotten from gay people, none of them have ever wanted to be in a relationship with me. Well, one girl was curious, and I had to, set her straight. I'm like, listen, honey, chill, we're just friends, and that's it. I know I'm cute and all, but no. So, but they're not interested in like fooling people into having sex with them. Like that doesn't make any sense. I'm telling you, most adults, whether gay, straight, whatever, that's not what they're into. They want someone who wants to be with them for kind of who they are. It's societal pressures that make people stay in the closet and hide and pretend to like women. It's not that they're out there just kind of purposely doing it on their own, right? It's still a conscious decision, mind you, to be closeted. So I think that that's an important conversation that people need to have. But people setting up catfishing account, the most popular category of catfish are people trying to scam all these Nigerian scammers and Ghanaian scammers and whatever. People trying to scam you out of money is the biggest category of catfish, not gay men who want to catfish a straight person to sleep with them. What? I don't even know what the hell Alejandro talking about. Now I know he gets up in his feelings every time we bring up this conversation. And I'm kind of curious as to why you're so bothered. What these other people are doing with their lives. What is it about hearing about gay people just wanting to live their lives that brings you out? Pun intended, that brings you out. It just seems unnatural in a way. The one question I got years ago from a member of the community, we were actually going to the movies, and I used to hang out with them all the time. There was a whole core group. We'd go to Rackham's on Friday. I was single. I didn't have nothing going on, So what? They're good people, just like everybody else. And we'd hang out. But I got a real insight into the community from spending this time with them, especially after they've had a few drinks. And they got drama just like all the rest of us, right? So I remember this one guy in particular saying to me, Sandy, are you sure you're not a lesbian? And I looked at him and I said, why would you ask me that? Why do you think that there's a possibility? And he's like, because you're just so nice to us. And, you go out with us and you're not afraid to be seen with a gay person. I'm like, okay. So I'm comfortable enough in my own sexuality. And trust me, I am strictly different. Okay. I'm comfortable enough in my own relationship and who I am, that you being gay, straight, bisexual, trans, whatever, has nothing to do with me. I can spend time with you. It doesn't rub off on you. I'm not going to catch gayness from nobody. It's not contagious. And it's so weird the way that people have been indoctrinated, that even people in that community who want the acceptance of someone like me, of just regular people, and I don't want to use the word regular because they're all regular people, they just want the acceptance of a non, gay person, even when they get it without any judgment, any questions, whatever, they're like, are you sure you're not a member? Because you were just so non-judgmental towards us. And I said, but isn't that what you want from people? Because they get it. And the guy was like, yeah, but because they don't get it enough. And they don't get people who can say, yep, I can go and sit down dinner and have dinner with you, even one-on-one. And that, like I said, it's not going to rub off on me. I'm not going to become gay having dinner with you, Alejandro, despite what you think. I can sit down and have lunch from now till whatever with a lesbian, and I'm not going to become a lesbian just because I'm having dinner with her. That is not how it works. So this person was a little bit like, oh, yeah. And I said, but, you're now judging me. It's kind of ironic because now you're judging me thinking, well, maybe she is. And I'm like, I'm not. You guys, I've never dated a woman in my life. I have no interest in women in that way. I can look at a woman and say, wow, she's pretty, she's beautiful, but it's not a sexual thing. Just like I can look at men too and be like, oh, he's very handsome. Eye candy. And it's not a sexual thing. I'm not going to go jump in behind the bushes or in the sheets or whatever with that individual. I think we need to kind of, educate ourselves. So Stephen says, I've never catfished no one. Stephen happens to be a member of the community. Thank you, Stephen. And I wish more members of the community would say, you know what, this is ridiculous. Alejandro Sandy has a lot of statistics in front of her. And also she's connected to a lot of people in the Cayman Islands, outside the Cayman Islands. So, and I have taken the time to listen to people and try to educate myself a little bit. I don't know. I feel like instead of leading with your prejudices, right? Lead with just openness and an open mind. And just let people, if you don't want to, you don't have to be, nobody not going after you like that. I mean, y'all don't look that good. Let me just be honest. Y'all not the cat's meow. Okay. Gay people have lots of options, believe it or not. And you know what? Not only do they have the options of people who actually are out and are gay, they have the options of some of your spouses and boyfriends who can't be honest, but still they're willing to dabble on the side. How about that? And nobody's catfishing them. They're doing it on their own accord. Steven says, it's been a while since I've heard such nonsense. I mean, geez, I'm peace. Good morning, Emma. Wishing everybody a wonderful day. Hey, King. King says, King, let me take Odell off the screen, honey child. King says, hear ya, the catfishing was real, but it was always 100 girls and 2 boys with fake profiles in high school trying to flirt with their crush on MySpace back in my time. I have heard of some notorious catfishing cases in Cayman, and it was the same culprits each time. That's not all of us. That is not a majority of us either. Thank you, sir. Jackie says, we all have one life to live here on earth. Please do not be cruel to someone who's different. Love one another, especially anyone afraid or are struggling to be themselves. Johan trying to give Alejandro good advice, which is actually really poor advice, saying Alejandro ignored Judge Sandy. Ms. Brenda says Alejandro is right. If he could have finished his sentence, Sandra would have understood his point. His point is that gay people are the ones who are predominantly out there catfishing people to try to catfish to sleep with straight people. I know for a fact that that's not true. That is one of those prejudicial statements that is absolutely ridiculous. And you make statements like that. It's the same thing. Oh, these people are trying to convert our children. I mean, the vast majority of gay people have no interest in having any contact with anybody's children whatsoever. And anybody who does, I don't care whether they're gay, straight, whatever, they have an issue. But you see, it's one of those things that you do to perpetuate lies against the community, to continue this fear mongering of why we should not like gay people. Oh, because they're catfishing you. Oh, they want to turn your kids into a lesbian or a bisexual or gay person, whatever. That is pure ignorance. And we have got to get past this ignorance. And I don't really give two cahoots who the ignorant information is coming from. It is completely ignorant. And I've just said to you, there are people in this community who are committing suicide, who are turning to drugs, doing all of this stuff because of stupidity and comments just like that. You think gay people got time to be sitting down catfishing a straight person? Really? I'm not saying it's never been done, but it's not the majority of people who's doing it. If one person does it, look at the number of straight people out there catfishing people. There's way more straight people catfishing people to steal money from them and to do other stuff or just to be mean. Steven says, pow. Damien says, I'm going to start hanging around millionaires, then I'll become one. Exactly. It's going to rub off on me. I don't want gay people around me. Oh, you sitting down reading a book with a man and he got eyes on you. Really? And he's gay? No, he's probably looking at the guy behind me who he knows is also gay and putting off some gay vibes. He's not interested in me. I've had close friends for years who I know are gay. And we have never, you see, this is a thing for me that is so shocking, right? We have never even had a conversation about their sexuality because these people are private people. Why are they going to sit down talking about their sexuality with me? I'm a straight woman and they're a gay guy. There's no conversation necessary, right? I'm not sitting down telling my friend what I'm doing in privacy of my own bedroom. And he or she is not telling me what they're doing in the privacy of their own bedroom. It is not a topic of conversation. And the times, for the record, Alejandro and others, the times that it has come up, it's been me probing them because I want to learn, I want to understand certain things to be able to dispel these ridiculous myths. Magnum Opus says, whenever you hear people come out so defensive or judgmental of people because of their sexuality, there's an obvious sign of suppressed tendencies. Well, that is some statistical information that you could run with. When you have an obsession with homosexuality, normally you need to really have a coming to Jesus moment with yourself and ask yourself some questions about how you really feel. Why are you obsessed with what other adults are doing in their personal sexual lives? Why do you really, really care? This person says Alejandro is too early to be getting high. No, Alejandro, it's too early to be getting high. Just listen to the show and try to learn something and stop calling in. I can't find the link to respond to Alejandro. Brenda switches from being very intelligent to being very ignorant. Okay. Let's move on to the next person. The next person says, how he know they're not having intercourse. I have had some of my best moments hanging out with members of the LGBT community. They are fun as F. Trust me, the LGBT members I know are very picky and have high standards. They don't want any driftwood riffraffs. Well, don't make generalizations. Yes, some of them are, and some of them are not picky. It is what it is. They're just like all the rest of us. It just is what it is. All right, this person says, would he kindly go back to the hole that he's been in for the last few weeks, back with the same stupid arguments? But you're that uncomfortable, with gays, you're in doubt about your sexuality. Oh, sorry, let me reread that. When you're that uncomfortable with gays, you are in doubt about your own sexuality. And this is coming from a very straight Caymanian man. Yes, somebody says, I know you keep saying that Africans are the scammers, but truth be told, scammers are from all over the world. Look at India, America, Australia, Jamaica, English, the list goes on, just to name a few. Well, let's be honest now, the Nigerians have a particular knack for certain types of scamming. I'm not saying that they're the only ones. This person says, Miss Sandy, he's speaking the truth. Some people on social media like men, seeks men, and pretends to be a woman. It goes both ways. It's cost a lot of lives in Jamaica too. Well, you know what is the problem in a place like Jamaica? Because once again, if people could just be who they are and just be honest, there'd be no need for them to be pretending to be anything and trying to catfish anybody. Y'all have one celebrity there in Jamaica right now. He's a social media celebrity. And I don't know him personally and I don't know his business. But every time I see him and I listen to him, I'm like, this man is gay. And at his birthday party, which he had all over his YouTube channel, his family members like, oh, we want you to get married and have kids. I was like, which kids he gonna be adopting? Because he's gay. Y'all can't accept it. He's a gay man. And I don't think he's really accepting it either. He never talks about his relationships. He says that that's off limits. And I'm like, I understand why, honey child, but you need to tell your family members that you're gay and that we fooling nobody. King says there's a show on MTV called Catfish. Worried about my community and you'll miss the real threats. I've seen some of it, and trust me. In fact, there is, I told you guys before that there's actually a hold on. There is a oh man, I'll have to get the name of it again, but there's a page that I subscribe to on YouTube, and the whole thing that they do is they actually go to try to catch these scammers and stuff and convince these women that they need to stop sending this man in Africa, because and 80% of the time that's exactly where he is, stop sending him money because they are being scammed. And some of them, even after all the investigations, they still cannot believe it. I mean, I'm always so shocked at how gullible people can be out of just willful ignorance. Like they just don't want to believe the truth. And, you know, it's shocking. I'll try and find the name of it. But yeah, I like to watch these because I'm like, wow, sometimes you need a reality check that don't be this stupid. You know, they have, oh my gosh, y'all need to watch it. Let me see if I can find the channel. All kind of stuff. All kind of like, oh, you know, send me a laptop, stories about, oh, I have this son and I'm in the military. And, you know, they always use pictures of the quincentennial, you know, blue-eyed, blonde-haired, good-looking American in a military suit, because apparently that's what gets y'all toes curled up at night, to try and hoodwink these little old people in Mississippi to send them, oh, but he is real. I know he's real. He's been talking to me for 2 years. And they're like, really? You've been sending this man money for 2 years, every single month, and you've never had a video call with him? Well, you know, he's stationed all the way in Alaska where they don't have internet. They're like, oh, please, woman. He got enough internet to be messaging you, though, and to be sending you, you know, all these other things. Why not just do a video call? What a hot mess, honey child. Like King said, those are the people that you better worry about catfishing you. They're the real threats. Well, I got to see if I can find this page. It is, oh, y'all need to go watch these. I mean, it is shocking what people will do. Oh, I need to clean up my Facebook likes. Half these people I don't even follow anymore. I'll see if I can find it. Oh gosh, I'll have to see if I can find these, but they are very, very interesting. I mean, and these are professional, their job, Quinton, hold on. I've just mispronounced the word. Thank you, Eddie. Now I'm not going to be able to get it right. Oh, Jesus, help me. Hold on. I'm going to go to Dr. Google. Hold on. We're going to get it right here today. Hold on. I gotta still try and find the page though. I'm telling you all about. All right, let's get the correct. I'm mixing up two completely separate words. I know. Quintessential. Thank you, Eddie. Not quincentennial. Quintessential. That's yeah. Y'all heard it. Remember now. Even if you don't know how to pronounce a word, that's what dictionary.com is for. All right. Johan told me he had catfished me to join the VIP Cayman Swingers crew. Don't tell my boss. His boss, of course, is Pilar. Johan, you joke a lot about these types of things. You're beginning to make me wonder. You probably would enjoy a bit of the swinging lifestyle. But you're not going to be swinging with me, honey child. You better go swing with somebody else. Damien says it's a phobia and stigma embedded in many minds. Marshall says any so-called straight man out there that's uncomfortable talking about the LGBTQ community or hanging out with a gay person has some issues within themselves that they need to resolve. Rush C says, I feel for the potheads. Just because someone smoked pot doesn't mean that they do all drugs. Well, I'm pretty sure nobody said that. But there are people out there that think if someone smoked pot, they must be on all drugs. No, that wasn't what was said. I think what was said, and let's read the comment again to understand. Clarity is important. The person made no mention of any other drug. They said, Alejandro, it's too early to be getting high. They're not accusing Alejandro of doing any other drug. We all know he's a pot smoker. He's admitted to that. Even the police must know he's a pot smoker because he's openly admitted to that. But there are some people who understand that smoking pot actually can impact your mental clarity. And the things that you say might not always be on point because maybe you are drinking a little bit too much and you're high. I don't know why some of y'all think, oh, pot makes me lucid and it makes me a genius. No, it doesn't. Woo, Gabby. She done gone and picked up the Jamaican I was talking about. I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying a word. I don't want him to be writing me. I'm just saying I get a little touch of I'm not straight vibe from him. And that's okay. I don't have no problem with that. None at all. He's a handsome man. And if he's gay, he's gay. It is what it is. All right, folks. We can probably move on from this conversation, which has totally gone to the left. Oh, Alejandro is going to call back. All righty. Yes, Alejandro.
Yes, Sandy. I don't want to make it sound like I am homophobic, yo.
Really?
I don't want nobody out there thinking that I homophobic, yo. Because look, I have gay friends, like I said. I have gay friends, like I said.
Really? Are you sure about that? You have gay friends?
Yes, I have gay friends. Anybody out there that know who Alejandro Dominguez is knows who I am. And they know that if they're gay, they know that I am not a homophobic. Because look here, look, I sit down and smoke my weed with some gay friends that I have here in Cayman. And I know they don't want to admit it. They're not going to admit it. But that's not my problem. That's not my problem. Right? But what I'm trying to say, I reason with them. They're good friends of mine before I even knew that they were gay.
Okay.
And I'm not going to judge them. I'm not going to judge nobody on their appearance, on how they act, who they like, what they like, or anything like that. But what I'm trying to say is a few of those ones out there, or the majority that I know that I don't hang out with, that maybe might be doing this substance abuse and might find the attraction. And I'm saying I am not into that. Those are the ones that don't have respect for the straight people. And this is what I'm trying to tell you, Sandy. I'm not trying to tell you it in a way that I am bashing them. I am saying that there's a few of them out there that do not know how to handle themselves and be appropriate to people around them so that they cannot offend them. And I feel pretty offended when I know when one of those gay people know that I am straight, that know that I do not play in those games.
But let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a straight person offend you? Have you ever had a woman who knows that you're in a relationship be inappropriate to you and come on to you?
If I was to answer that with a straight answer, I'd say yeah.
Okay. So what's the problem? Why is your focus on gay people? Straight people, listen, I just told you.
The substance abuse part of it, and you think it's not, do you think it is easy for them to identify who is straight and who is gay? Do you think that if you like the man and he was gay, do you think that he have to like you back?
What? Alejandro, I don't even know what I'm, okay, let me put it this way. Let me say it like this, right?
Communicating with their people, the people that they are looking for. Maybe the communication is not there. Maybe the I don't know how to say it, but Sandy,
I think gay people have the ability to communicate just as well, if not more effectively, than straight people. They tend to be very, very honest.
Maybe not.
Why? Because they're gay, and gay means that you can't. Being gay means you can't communicate.
Just like straight people, they get jealous too, just like straight people. Have you ever seen two gay men fighting for another gay man?
Oh my God.
Have you ever
Alejandro,
seen two lesbians fighting for another lesbian?
You know what? I have seen more straight people fighting in the streets of Cayman over man.
Okay. Okay.
Remember the video we just
You
played a
never
couple
seen
months
the
ago
video.
with the girls and their
You never
behind
seen the
showing all over the
video. Do you
place?
think
They
that
weren't
they're
gay people.
excluded from
They were
that
straight
situation?
people
Do
fighting
you
over
think that
man.
they're excluded from that situation? Do you think that two gay men could be fighting over another gay man at a bar when they're drunk? Do you think that's impossible?
Nothing is impossible,
Answer me.
Alejandro. I just told you that.
Answer that.
I just told you that straight people are fighting in the streets every day over man and woman. So if gay people
And
are
that's
doing the same thing,
more.
it doesn't
I
have
mean,
anything to do with being straight or gay.
You know what is more offensive is when a gay man does not have respect for a straight man and still end up doing the wrong thing.
Have you
No
ever
respect.
have you ever had a gay person try that with you?
Sandra, check your WhatsApp. I just sent you a screenshot. You do not have to show it.
So
do
you
not
have
to
somebody
show it to
catfishing you.
anybody.
So one person has catfished you, and you think that
Sandra,
this is indicative of what is happening.
Sandra, there are men out there that are gay that are willing to see other men that are not gay with them and thinking that they can use a woman to get at them. And Sandra, don't say this is impossible because it never happened to you doesn't mean it never happened at all. All right?
I never
Just because it didn't happen to you doesn't mean it is not happening at all.
I never said that.
And
All
this is
right,
probably the
we
reason
do have
for the
another
substance
caller who's
abuse.
trying to get on
This
the
is
show.
probably the reason for the substance abuse, and I am just telling you, I smoke my weed with some of my gay friends, and they tell me some stories that I am not allowed to talk to you about because that's personal. That's personal, and I have seen it.
Well, I would love to hear from
firsthand.
members of the community today who
Okay,
want to
I
call
would
in
love to
and
hear
talk about
from
their
them
experiences
defend it, so that I
because
cannot be the only one out here talking as a straight man defending some of our rights. And I understand they have the right to have a relationship with other gay people. I'm not against them. What I have a problem with is when they are out there pretending to be someone they are not, and they're out here jeopardizing the people that actually have respect for their morals.
All right.
It becomes a
9-3.
crime.
Let's hear from some other people.
Remember what I sent you? Just check the screenshot that I sent you on WhatsApp just now, and you just take. You don't have to show it out because it's not decent to show, I guess. But you just take that picture that I just sent you, that screenshot that I just sent you, and you put the puzzles together, and you just question that. Question that. All right, just question that. All right, that guy that I sent the picture.
All right, somebody's sending you a illicit photo of their private parts.
Why would they send me that? Why would they send me that? They're gay. They know I'm straight. They know I'm not into it. Why are they sending me that?
And once again, if you can say that they're gay, that means that they're not hiding that they're gay. So maybe
that means that they don't have respect.
Well, that's not. I'm not saying that everybody out there has respect. That's not what I'm saying.
Those are the ones that I am not friends with. I have good friends that are gay, and they have 100% respect for me. They have a coffee with me. They sit down, have a
So
smoke
why are
with
you?
me.
Why are you? One or two people you say don't have respect for you. Why are you making this as though this is all of the gay community?
No,
this is just someone who doesn't have respect, and it doesn't matter if they're gay or what they are.
If there's one person, there's more. And I'm going to keep telling you that. If there's one person, they are more. Not one man thinks alike. Not one man thinks alike. They might just be doing that with other gay friends and they don't like that. You never know, Sandra. You never know until they start coming out and speaking about it. Because they don't want to speak about it because it's criminal.
It's criminal for an adult to send.
They behind closed doors because they know what they're doing is wrong. They're not going to defend it because they know what they're doing is wrong.
Okay. All right, Alejandro.
It's not nice to pretend to be somebody that you are not.
Right. And so you would agree with me when I say that it's not nice for the majority of gay people who have to pretend to be straight and live in a straight world when that's not who they are.
No, that's their problem. That's their problem.
Oh,
what I'm trying to say is that if your name is Jordan and you say you're Jordana and you put on a nice little picture on your profile and you keep talking to me and talking to me and talking to me as if you're straight, and then you want to come out with some pictures and all those stupid things that they like to do.
All right. This call has been almost 9 minutes. Thank you very much, Alejandro.
It is, yeah, too long. I'm sorry.
All righty. Someone says, can you limit him to 2 minutes to talk and 1 call per month? What a fool. This person says, WTH, not every gay man going to want him. One person sends him a inappropriate thing and he's going on and on about gay people. Something not adding up here. Someone says, ask Alejandro, why does he still have the picture? Y'all, yeah. Lord Jesus. So, oh my God. This person says, I was not missing him. Wow. Another person says, please cut him off. Oh my God. My brain can't quite work around this. Sorry to the other caller who's trying to call in. Let me call you back, honey child. Somebody was saying earlier, can we please do a protest for Flo to give Sandy a toll-free number? This person called multiple times. Oh, Lord, let's see. Gabby says, can we please now move on? Don't show the picture, move on. But the topic, says Jackie. Darlene says, Sandy, let's face it, it happens. It's respect what he's saying. Nobody says it doesn't happen. What I'm saying is that's not the majority of people. Hello, caller.
Oh, this is a talk show.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was just debating if I should call back or if it call period. You know what I mean? Because it's a touchy subject, you know.
Well, if you're not on this subject, let me try and wrap this up now. Give me a few minutes.
No, I on this subject.
Oh, you're on this.
I was debating whether to call or not because it's a very touchy subject.
Oh, okay.
People, you know what I mean? Okay. First of all, I don't know about the beliefs. I'm anti anything. I'm just who I am. I am me. You know what I mean? And I'm in my 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was raised in a time that they told me that this was totally wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
They used to send them to institutions and everything, right?
Right.
Okay, but I grew up with these people around me and they never did me no harm. They never did nothing. I grew up with some prominent ones that in the Cayman Islands that are around that everybody knows about, but I ain't calling nobody names.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You get me? Everybody deserves their privacy, but
yeah.
From back that time, we had them here, and there was one guy that used to work at the airport. Very nice guy, man. I didn't want to call his name, but he was open leg, whatever label you want to put on it, gay or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And he never did me nothing, you know. But I've been approached. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, or the wrong place at the right time. In Miami, I went to a club that I didn't know was one of those kind of clubs, and some guys came hit on me. You know what I mean? But I automatically told them, look, where I'm from, I'm not into that. And the guy looked at me like, oh, well, you're in the wrong place, and I left. I couldn't stand no ground there because I am in the wrong place. Get me? But what I don't like about this LGBTQ plus, whatever you want to call it, all these acronyms and pronouns, is it's confusing. You know what I mean? Okay, if a man likes an next man, okay, that's no problem. If a woman likes an next woman, okay, that's your choice. But don't come out the man getting dressed like the woman and say that I have to recognize him or analyze him as a woman and dress him as a woman. Don't try to make me be the fool too. You know what I mean? Don't go to the woman's restroom as a man, dressed as a woman, and talking and use the woman's restroom. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Don't, and what you say about the kids, okay, I don't see this LGBTQ present in the universities or the colleges like how they want to do in the preschools and the primary schools. You get me? Because they have these drag queens who go into the primary schools like, well, I have seen it all over the social stuff or anti-social media, whatever they want to call it. I've seen is where these people go into these classes and they read these books dressed as men, dressed as women, and they're doing these twerks and flips, and I don't believe that's right. You know what I mean? On a moral point, I don't believe that's right. You know what I mean? But like as you said earlier, they don't rub off by hanging with them. I mean, what they have, they don't rub off. That's just their feeling. That don't rub off on anybody. Unless you're that way already, you know what I mean? And basically, it's still, but that don't make it right, what they're doing. It doesn't make it right, because I don't hang around with thieves. I don't hang around with anybody who's doing anything wrong. And I believe from my growing up, my upbringing, my beliefs and my morals, that is wrong. There's nothing right about it. So I can't justify to say, praise it in any way. I don't have any friends of that nature. I have associates of that nature. When I say friends, a friend is somebody who I could confide and I could believe and I could trust and I could probably do what they do too.
So why don't you say you have, what do you have of that nature? Acquaintances?
No, associates. Yes.
Okay. So why don't you have friends that will, not to your knowledge, but why do you think you have no friends of that nature?
Because I do not agree with the lifestyle.
Okay.
So why would I have
So
friends?
you're happy like, being acquaintances with them.
Hold on. It's just like Pirates Week. It is not my heritage. I do not participate in that because I cannot practice piracy. I would not be around I would not be with a thief because I would not go steal with them. I don't want to be a classmate a thief either.
Okay. So you're happy being, can I ask you for you, what's the difference between a friend and an acquaintance? You said a friend is someone you can confide in.
I can tell you, an acquaintance is somebody who I know of or I see on the street and we have some kind of mutual respect. It's not somebody who I'm going to ask for a favor or somebody who I would call or even have your phone number in my phone. Okay. That's an acquaintance for me. That's somebody you meet. You're passing in the wind. Okay. You know what I mean? But it's somebody who you get to,
you get to choose who your friends are. And if you don't want to be friends with gay people, I mean, that's your choice. I mean,
of course,
you know,
just what I'm saying, but I don't bash them because I don't have no offense for beating no gay people up. I don't say nothing bad to them if they're around me, nothing like that. But I have never been put in a situation. Okay, what if you and Gianna goes out, right? And you're out and a man dresses a woman. But you can obviously see it's a man in a beard, but he dressed provocative as a woman. And he walks up to Gianna and she walks across, whatever it is. And your daughter goes, Mommy, is that a man or a woman? What are you going to explain to her? That is right, what he's doing? Or she goes to the bathroom and she sees a man dressed as a woman come into the bathroom. You're going to make her believe that's okay? There's certain limits to this. And I don't think that certain lines should be crossed.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
I believe love is love.
Most children.
We are.
Well, let me say this.
But certain things you can't.
I don't think that children need to be overexposed to anything, and that includes there's a lot of things, right? Not just this conversation.
We're talking about one thing.
So if she happened to pass someone in the street who was dressed as a woman, and she asked me, is that a woman or a man? I would say, well, to me, I mean, I don't know what's between their legs or what their situation is.
But the person has. Come on, Sandra. I know you're trying to wrap the question.
No.
Right?
No. You know what I would say to her? You know what I would say to her? You asked me a question. Can I answer?
Places, yes, but I have been certain places. I have seen the men dressed as women, and they don't look no way like a woman. Even with the wig on.
I have also been places like Cuba where men are dressed like women, and you could not tell that they were men, none at all. And I have seen that I have had straight Caymanian men getting, all excited in their little pants because they thought that this was a woman. Sandra, and I'm like, that's not a woman, that's a man.
No, but I have seen that same thing right in my own island in Cayman. I have seen that a man dressed as a woman, and you wouldn't tell no different. So see the man try to talk to the thing or try to talk to the person. And they were very upset by what they found out, but that's how it is. What are you going to do? Kill all of them? You can't do that.
So someone just said to me that Caymanians, they mentioned some names. I'm not going to mention any names, and I'm sure they wouldn't necessarily mind. Someone said everybody in Cayman grew up with, they list two people who were very androgynous. They said, who is more androgynous than the two of them? We had no problems with them. But,
we had no problems. We have no... Listen, this is what I'm told. I started off by telling you this. I grew up, in the churches here, they told me that this is totally diabolical. It's bad. It's bad. The government around the world said it's bad because they were locking you up with this boogery thing and all kind of thing, right? But I grew up around these people and they did nothing wrong to me. I have never seen them.
And those same people, let me say, and again, when we talk about, who's coming on to you and who's never coming on to you, those people have never, they know who is in their community. And there's a lot of women. Let me put it this way. There are a lot of women who are actually bisexual, and I've seen this happen a lot of times, and they like a masculine woman. And so although they might be interested in men as well, they like a masculine woman. I've even seen men. Let me tell you how ridiculous this scenery can get in Cayman. And these are just people, I guess, trying to figure it out and be adulting. I've actually seen men here in Cayman have to go to the lesbian girlfriend and say, I mean, they weren't together at the time, but say, hey, I'm interested in this girl. Do you mind if I date her? I was like, what? Are people not all adults here? Like, what on earth is this?
Well, Sandra, whatever floats their boat, you know
well,
what I mean? But
that's my point. So,
you know what I mean? But no, but everybody's different because, like, I've sat at the table where a homosexual person was there and I've broken bread. You know what I mean? There's nothing anti about it, but that doesn't mean what they're doing is right. That's all I'm saying. And basically, how I grew up or the morals that were instilled in me cannot accept it as right either, no matter how they want to paint it. That's like, okay, me, I look at it as a deficiency. You know what I mean? It's like a handicap or an imbalance. So it's something to look at as a sickness in a way, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're a strong advocate for anybody who's a pedophile or pedophilia, basically, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, you know that's diagnosed as a disease. It's not something somebody just get up and want to do. It's something that's wired into their DNA. But we cannot look at it as anything good. It's something wired. It's something that they can't help themselves with. But yet we look at it as, oh, they're the lowest of lowest. Like, I look at them as scum. They should be put under my feet and crushed. But we cannot do that because here, it's a sickness. It's beyond their own help. They can't help themselves. They have to go through psychological treatments and be locked away or just be taken away from society altogether because they can't help themselves. So they're going to always repeat that offense. But that don't mean that we're going to glorify it. Am I on the right track or am I wrong?
Well, I mean, we have to condemn it because even if let me put it this way.
Homosexuality was condemned for a long, long time. We all know this. But now today we are glorifying it like, oh, it's okay, let's rub shoulders, buddy. It's out in the opening because somebody came out and said, okay, let's take our time and take the clothes off of this thing. Bill Gates came out, he opened it. Obama did his little thing. Each president broke a seal and they kept on tearing, like they didn't give it to you all one time because we would all be desensitized by now, by what they have programmed us to believe and see. Even Walt Disney come out now and say that's what they're about. And back in the days, they could not say that.
What are they about? I've lost you. What are they about?
They came out and they say that they're supporting the LGBT to this point. They're making films with it now. Every film that they make now, Disney movie, has a part where somebody has to be showing that way. But before, that was never the case because the world had looked at it bad, but because certain people in the world who control the thing because of material say, okay, it's good now. Everybody wants to jump in the bandwagon and say it's good, but my morals don't jump left or right. My morals stay like how I was grew up. I think I die with my same morals, but as I say, nobody should be bashing these people. Which is like I asked a pastor once, if Jesus met one of these people, what would he do? He said he would pray for them. So Jesus loved the world. So I would pray for them also. You know what I mean? You can't hate somebody for who they are. That's who they are. But you don't have to glorify it. You know what I mean? Just like the pedophile I talk about. We don't glorify them. We have to try to help them. Even if it's locking them away from the very act. But sometimes they cannot help themselves. But we cannot look at it as it's something just totally right. But at the end of the day, people have their choice. But that doesn't mean it's good. You know what I mean? It's like a pastor says, like, even with relationships, we can't go by what we feel. We have to go by what is morally right. Not because we feel it's good. Okay, like, a lot of times I don't feel to pay CUC his bill because the bill's too high. But I know, say, I have to pay CUC his bill if my legs can be off. You know what I mean? So certain things we can't go by the feeling. I don't feel to go to work at times, but I make sure I go to work because that pays for my mortgage, that pays for my son to go to certain classes, and it has my lifestyle. But if you get what I'm saying, we can't hate on them. We can't be anti, but we can be pro of what we are. Once we aren't hating anybody, we try to help them. You know what I mean? If it's something bad they're doing, we don't glorify it. We just say, look, you over there, you do your thing, I do my thing. We walk in different lines. It's
All
simple
right.
as that.
All right, my dear.
And with the catfishing thing, oh, sorry.
You're going into 15 minutes now, so.
Oh, sorry.
Wrap it
sorry,
up.
but I want such a friend, Alejandro.
Yes,
Put him in the back of the class for a little bit because, boy, catfishing goes both ways. Scammers catfish, everybody catfish. And plus, he has a point where he says some of these gay people do catfish because they're ashamed that the person might reject them or they don't want. Because I know of women who have had a boyfriend or thought it was a boyfriend and it turned out to be a girl. And yeah, I don't know how that worked, but yeah. And same thing with man go out there, pick up women that they believe or pick up people that they believe are women, only to find out that it was a man and something bad happens or the woman get away or the man pretends to be the woman gets away. So it does happen, but I don't think the majority of the LGBTQ are bad. I don't think the minority of them are good either. You know what I mean? But it's just people are
Well,
people.
I can tell you
People
the
will be
majority
people.
are not catfishing anybody. They're looking for
No,
people who want
I
to
don't
be
know.
in an open
I
relationship
won't
with
speak
them.
on it.
Well,
I won't
I'm
speak on it
telling
'cause
you.
I've never been catfished.
The majority of people have not been catfished, but I can tell you that the majority of those individuals are not into that. But anyway, thank you, caller.
Well, great conversation. Have a good
All
one.
right, thanks. You too. All right. El Rey says being gay is not a lifestyle choice. You're born gay or straight. Why would you choose a lifestyle that caused you to be looked down upon? In some countries, you were killed, imprisoned, etc. But despite of this, gay people still choose that lifestyle because it's natural for them. Well, you just said it's not a lifestyle to choose, so you don't choose. You know what I'm saying? You either are or you're not. And the fact of the matter is, if you are, although you might not, you can be gay and not choose a lifestyle. That's how this conversation got started. Because some of the people out there who are hardcore, and like I said, I'm not calling any names, but you can just look around at some of those who are hardcore on drugs. The reason why they have turned to the drugs is because they cannot be who they are. They don't want to choose a lifestyle because, again, of everybody judging them and what people have to say. But you know what? I would rather them be gay and be who they are than be on drugs and putting out messages like this
I was
that don't
actually
make no damn
thinking
sense.
just now, and I was like, the Psalms of David. I just read the Psalms of David, right?
Would you?
I just read.
I'm not talking about Odell's curiosity, his sexuality, but let me ask you a question. Would you rather Odell be a functional, gay person who can live his life being happy, or you'd rather him tell people, "Oh, I'm not gay," but be like this, strung out on something because he is afraid to be who he is? I'm not saying him. I'm just using him as an example. Which would you rather? People just live their lives and be who they are, but because they cannot be who they are, they're going to turn to substance abuse, and then they're still out there dealing with your husbands in the dark anyway, and your husbands know fine and well they're not being catfished by nobody. They know fine and well that they like a side piece to be a man. I had to chuckle with Kamoya's comment, and at this time of day, there's no children on the line. So let me be very, very, I'm going to read her comment because y'all need to understand exactly what she said. She said, Sandra, everybody's adulting for true because these men in Cayman, all they're asking you about is bonker sex, and they're very straight. So is this a disease or homophobia? Huh? A lot of you men, if you were to be honest, don't care which hole you putting it in or who the hole belongs to. Let's just be very crystal clear now. But because, like the last caller said, because of how you grew up and your parents told you this and your grandparents told you this, and only God knows what half of them were doing, going out to sea on a boat for 6, 8, 10, 12 months, even a year with other men, and you believe not no hanky-panky bonker business was going on there? I know well. Y'all better wake up. Lots of it was going on in those days too. And then they were still coming back home and getting married to the nice little Caymanian women. Steven said, tell him. I can tell you again. Think about it. Sure. Y'all don't have a clue. Y'all pretending. What a hot mess. Yes, sir. This person says this fool needs to be, I'm not surprised. Okay, this fool needs to be in the back of the class with Alejandro. Oh my God. Did he say locking them away? I was having a horrible morning, but this man has turned it around for me. LMAO. Lord Jesus. People, just be who you are. If you're straight and you love, you're a woman, you love men, just live your best life, right? Not no lesbians gonna be chasing you down, honey child. Trust me. Just live your best life, right? I see people all the time who are different than me. If I see somebody who's handicapped in a wheelchair, I see little Gianna looking at those people. I have to explain to her, it's rude to stare at people, and that's something that they can't help. They have a handicap. And I don't even think it's politically correct anymore to say the handicap. I don't know what political word we're using these days, but I have to try to explain to her as best I can. They can't help it. They have introduced children in wheelchairs and Peppa Pig and other, so that children can get used to seeing someone who's different than them. There are people who are different colors than you. There are people who come in different shapes and sizes. When she was younger, she'd say, oh, but mommy, you're so fat. Look at your stomach. And I said, yes, Gigi, I know I'm fat, and I'm happy to say I'm fat. I'm happy to call myself fat. But there's a lot of people who, you can't just walk up to people, call people fat, honey child. That's not very nice to say. You have to teach your children to live their best lives, and also you don't have to be accepting of people, but you also don't have to be not accepting of people. Just allow them to live. Good morning, caller.
Hi, Sandy. Morning. Sorry, late morning for me today.
Yes,
I kind of came at the end tail of what's going on here, And as a gay person that live here in Cayman, I think you got good and bad in any person that's out there. You don't have to be gay, straight, or whatever. But the fact remains is, whether you're a straight person and you go somewhere and somebody hits on you and, figuring you're gay or whatever, to me, the best thing to do is just say, I'm really flattered or whatever, but I'm not. And it should end right there and then. There should be no offense taken, because acceptance and tolerance is a hell of a thing. And you do have people out there that like to trick people, and I'm one that don't agree with that, because if you are what you are, and there's no sense in tricking someone, because the truth is going to come out in the end, and it's not a very good thing. And if things do escalate and things happen, and they're charged,
let me ask you a question. You're in the community, right? So you should probably be able to answer this more than anybody else. Is it a thing? Do you know if the majority? So let's talk about what happens a lot. Are the majority of gay people out there trying to trick people, straight people, to be in a relationship with them?
No, not at all.
That is the one-off person who probably has psychological issues, or they have something in them that they need therapy for, right? Because why would you?
I can't talk about what experiences we go through, but in my experience, a lot of people that rant and rage over one thing that happens to them have issues themselves that they need to work out. Because if you're a straight person and don't have a problem with your sexuality, and someone gay comes on to you or try to hit on you, all you simply have to say, bro, I'm not gay, and let it go and go about your business. But if you're gonna keep on it and escalating it and talking about it, and eventually later on down the line, with what I've noticed, is those people are either bisexual or gay themselves.
Let me ask you.
Women hit on me, Sandra, and I just say, I'm gay. That's it, and I let it go there.
Yeah. Let me. Some people have some questions. This person says, "Ask Noli as a gay man if he wants Alejandro." Have you ever been attracted?
Thank you. No.
Have you ever been? This is a personal question, but have you ever been attracted to a straight person and thought, "Oh, I can fool this person into being gay"?
No, I'm not going to say I'm not attracted to a straight person, because I see somebody straight and I think, what a handsome looking person.
Yeah.
But out of respect and boundaries, I never go there, because that's rude and disrespectful. But I've never gone out of my way to try and trick someone. How are you going to trick someone? It's going to come out in the end.
And this
You
person
know,
says,
so
I have a question. Do gay people get offended when the opposite sex hits on them? So do you get upset if a straight woman hits on you? I mean, are you going to be calling in
not,
talking about she's
not
catfishing
at
you?
all. Not at all. The first thing I'll say to them, I'm really flattered, but I'm a gay man. That's it.
Yeah.
They know where I'm coming from, and I know where they're coming from.
You just put a stop to it. I mean, as Alejandro was going on and on and on, I could count the countless times that straight men have come on to me, and some of them don't want to stop. You tell them, no, I'm not available. I'm not interested. I'm a married person. And they just keep coming and coming. I'm not talking about, they're catfishing me and they're sending me body parts. And I mean, they have. Everybody has gotten a deep pick every once in a while. And you're like, listen, don't send me that. But do I feel a way about straight men trying to fool me into, some of them have fooled you saying that they weren't married. I mean, and you didn't know till you got in the situation.
If you start a conversation with somebody and they send you a picture like that, your phone has something called block. That's the end of that conversation.
And everybody's wondering, why don't you just block the person? That's
exactly. Why carry on the conversation?
Yes, block the person and be done. No,
I don't get it, man. I mean, Jesus. I mean, we've come a long way here, from where we were. And the LGBTQ community here, I think it's fairly decent people. Although we have a lot of people here that's still in the closets and stuff, or it's not fully out or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's their path that they have to journey on to basically get to where they are. I mean, I went into a few places just yesterday, and it was really great to see people working on the front line that are part of our community, and jobs have hired them in their customer service skills and different things. And to me, that's very good because they can work in an environment and be themselves. And being gay is not a disease. I don't see myself as being sick or crazy. It was a struggle for me before I came out. I'm not going to lie. It was. But I'm more a happier person. I'm not depressed. This leads to a lot of things when you're trying to live a lie, and basically you get to a stage where you just got to be who you are. And
that's how the conversation got started, to be honest. We were talking about a lot of people who are out there now strung out on drugs, and it's because they can't come to terms with who they are. And this is such a core component of who you are, that you have to feel like you have to sneak around or even not sneak around at all. But it's so obvious that, this is something that people are really, really struggling with. Yeah.
I mean, it is crazy, but I guess people got family members and friends and stuff. But if your friends are your true friends, who they care what your sexuality is? At the end of the day, that's your personal business.
Exactly.
That's not anybody.
Yeah. And like I said, of all the gay acquaintances and friends that I've had over the years, we don't sit down talking about their sex life. That's none of my business. I don't care. Just like I'm not gonna sit down and talk to them about mine. I mean, it's not even a conversation. Like, there's so much more for you to talk with your friends and acquaintances, so many other things for you to talk about. It's not a topic of conversation. Celicia says, gay men are some of the most respectful set of guys I've come across. A lot of them are very, because they're going to respect boundaries, whereas a lot of straight men don't feel like they have any boundaries or that they have to respect any.
But women sort of pull more towards gay men because I guess they can go out and have a good time. They don't get hit on.
And you feel safer. You feel safer with them. Yes. They're going to look out for you, They're not trying to spike your drink to take advantage of you. That's what, while he's talking about people catfishing you, if he ever talked to straight women, they will tell you that a lot of times they have been saved by a gay friend in a bar or something like that because, they don't have to worry about all these things and they're actually looking out for them at the same time.
Yes. Yeah. And I just think everybody just needs to mind their own business, live their own lives, and lead people to live how they want to live. Once you're not breaking the laws and living your life to who you believe you are, who you want to be, that's just be it. I don't have the right to walk up to somebody and say, I hate you because you're straight. That's nothing to do with me. That's them and their lifestyle. Just to see if somebody, I don't want nobody to hate me because I'm gay. What I got to do with anybody's business?
Yeah.
We'll get there
it's such a sad situation. I mean, I think continual education is important. And you say we'll get there one day. I mean, there will always be people who are not ever going to get there. And I guess, it is what it is. But, even within, let me say this as well, even within the LGBTQ community, there's now been a plus added on there, but there are prejudices even within that community. And, it is scary on the one hand to know and to understand that it's almost like it's human nature to want to be prejudiced against someone. You know what I mean? Like we have to work hard not to judge people, not to be prejudiced against people, and not just in the context of being gay or not being gay. It's like all over. Like we have to work hard as Caymanians not to hate expats. You know what I mean? Or not to hate someone with a particular accent. Caymanians, you know, they want to marry Jamaican, but then they want to hate them at the same time. Like it's so contradictory, and sometimes it's just so absolutely crazy. You know, I've seen Caymanian candidates for political office running and talking about, oh, these white people, this, that, next thing, but their wives are from the whitest part of Europe, like Germans and Russians. And I'm thinking, how can you talk about the fact that you hate white people and every night you're sleeping next to one? Like it doesn't even make any sense to me. You know?
If you remember a little while back when I got married and you said to me that I think it was a Cuban, and said that I'm married to a Cuban, but I hate Cubans. I don't hate Cubans. I just hate people's ways. I don't hate anybody, you know? So, you know, we just have to be very mindful of not judging people, which can be hard at some times.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Apparently it's very difficult. It's very difficult.
I think that what they do is disrespectful just as well as you got in the heterosexual community as well. So they make the ones that not sticking to the right things are making it harder for the ones that are, you know, living the way they should. Like catfishing people and trying to convert people, that's just a lot. You need to stop because that's a lot of problems.
Yeah. And again, I don't see the majority of people doing that. You know, listen.
No, not at all.
If one person, let me put it this way. Say one English person offends me, right? Am I going to go around hating all English people and say they're all this way because one person has done something? No. Like you've got to recognize, you know, things for what they are. You can't just clump everybody in the same category. You can't say, well, all these gay people are out there trying to catfish people, because that's not true. There's no majority of people in any community that are catfishing people. There's certain communities that maybe the instance of it happening is a bit higher than others. But, you know, try to judge people. I don't know that judge is the right word, but try to get your opinion of people from how you find them to be and who they are to you. And how they are. Because I think we've all been in situations where people have tried to judge us and they didn't. We got a caller that I'm going to join in here. Noel, just hold on one second. And, you know, you had no idea really about that person. But because somebody said, well, oh, you know, Sandy's this and Sandy's that and blah, blah, blah. And when you get to know me, you're like, but that's weird because I don't find her to be like that at all. She's nothing like that. Like I have people tell me all the time, like, my gosh, you know, I thought you were this way. And then I get to know you and you're nothing like this. And I'm like, well, you know, judge people and how you find them. Don't allow other people to dictate and to tell you how to find someone or how to find a group of individuals. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Okay, I'm in class and I was early.
Oh, okay. Sitting in the front of the classroom.
I don't have to sit front, back, or middle, wherever I am. I'm listening. That's how we learn. But I would, if you would allow me, I'd like to go back to something you said earlier in the show with your friend, the gay person who hadn't come out yet but called you late and then wanted to confess to you that he was gay. I'll share a personal experience with you.
Like I don't even like I'll be honest, caller, I haven't even labeled him as gay. I just label him as someone who says he's interested in that he's actually interested in men. But I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Curious.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's curious. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so I stand corrected. I thought you said that he had come out and told you he was. All right. But I'll share an experience with you. With a gay guy, I mean, the guy who's gay, whether, you know, he read on a platform and announced it, but everybody knew he was gay from he was young. And the man in my life at the time, who was, you know, one of those very, you know, hard
anti-gay,
people, serious. I didn't say anti-gay. I said he was all straight, a very serious person, not one that you would run a joke with that maybe you could run with someone else. And only to find out this guy was befriending me because he was very much attracted to that man. And there were others around who knew, this man to be a very serious person, and obviously didn't know how he would react to this, and they were taking it for a joke. And when I found out about it, I said, this is a dangerous thing that you're doing. You could cause this guy to get hurt. Suppose he finds out that's the reason the guy's hanging around. And then, what if he reacts to it like, I'm just going to say this straight up, like a crazy person, and beat him up and all this kind of stuff. How are you all going to feel? I said, stop it. Just say to this guy, listen, a man is straight. He's not interested in men. So it's okay if you're attracted to him, but don't voice it. And of course, when I found out, I had to keep it quiet also, because me knowing this man as I did, I knew he wasn't going to appreciate it, and I could never say to him. And it was always little droppings and stuff around. And I kept, just trying to sweep it out the door, because I didn't want this to escalate to where I knew it could escalate to. And obviously where this man worked and stuff, he would not have even wanted his colleagues to know that there was a gay man who found him attractive, because that could have taken on a whole life of its own. So I say that to say, maybe the guy who called you and was telling you he found men attractive, he might have been trying to tell you something else. Because sometimes that's how they go about it. And they have to, get tips or whatever to come out in the open with it. And I'm not saying that that's how they all are, or that's always the message they're trying to get across. But I'm saying it does happen. And I'll share something else very quickly. When I was younger, I'm always young, I used to have experiences all the time. I couldn't figure out why, where, lesbian women were always, I'm going to say, flirting with me, at the time, and they were older women. And at the time, I just thought they were being very nice to me, because back then, we knew that this existed, but it wasn't really talked about a lot. And I remember going home one day and saying to my ex, that every time I go to this place, I'm not going to call the name of the place, this lady is always nice to me. And if I ask for 5 cookies, she puts like 2 extras in the bag and stuff. And he said to me, don't you know that woman is a lesbian, and she's coming on to you, sort of thing. And he said, maybe you shouldn't go back there. And I said, oh my goodness, well, I didn't realize that, and I didn't know what that was about. And I had a couple of come-on experiences. And I'm just going to tell you from personal experience now how it made me feel. And it had me, in this frame of mind for a while. I was now thinking, okay, maybe I look like a lesbian, and this is why lesbians are coming on to me.
Oh my gosh.
Fortunately,
can I ask a question, please?
When I finish this point, you can ask me any question. Let me finish this. So fortunately, I've always surrounded myself by people who are very knowledgeable about many things. And I was in Jamaica once having a discussion about the same thing. And one of my friends, a male, he looked at me and he said, that's not how that works. You don't look like a lesbian. He said, what you have to remember is this is a sexual attraction. And if a woman finds you attractive, she wouldn't know that you're not gay unless she asks. And when she comes on to you and you say, no, back off, I'm not like that, she should respect that. He said it would be the same as me as a man finding you attractive and I'm coming on to you. So it's no different. A woman out and she's not interested and you just let them down easily, they should respect that and back off. So I'm so glad that I had that conversation with the person, because at that time, and like I said, this is when this wasn't talked about or openly, I guess, and it was starting to bother me because I wasn't sure when I was being looked at, how was I being perceived? Okay, so I just want to say that not everybody's wrong about what they're saying, because obviously everyone's had a different experience.
Experience.
I have gay friends, and I love them to death. And I'm one that say all the time, the best friend for a girl to have is a gay guy. Because I can tell you what, he is going to wear your shoes. He's going to help you do your hair. And he'll probably put on your makeup. And he's not going to wear your clothes. So.
All right, caller. Thank you so much.
Your other caller wanted to ask me a question.
You actually answered it, ma'am, because I was going to ask you, well, did the conversation strike up between you and this person to ask, did they approach you and ask you anything? But then you answered it as you went on with your conversation.
Okay, thank you so much.
Because a lot of times people, like say it's a sexual attraction thing. But then if people come across and say, look, it's not my thing, I think it should end there.
Exactly.
Believe me when I tell you, I have no sympathy. If someone goes out there and approach someone and was told that they're not that way and pursue it and something happened to them, I don't have sympathy for them. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well,
Because
personally, I don't think it should go to that extreme.
No, it shouldn't.
I'm always going to equate it to a straight man and a straight woman. If one is not interested, because remember, a girl could be coming on to a guy too.
Yes, I was saying that earlier. Yeah.
So if he's not interested,
we do have another caller.
Very respectful and letting her down, and she should respect that and just
move on. Yes.
Okay, we do have a third call in the line. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, Sunday. This is an interesting topic.
This one hot this morning.
I just want to put my
one quick
quick.
one quick second. I'm just going to join another person. I don't want to cut off anything you're saying, so hold on. So that's 4 people, but continue, sir.
I will leave the call.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. All right, then.
Okay.
I just want to put morning, everybody. I just want to put my 2 cents in it. So morning to everyone. And I just want to say, Sunday, growing up as a youth, right, and in the community and so forth. In Red Bay, we know who the 3 queers were, right? We never harmed them, we never hurt them, we never discriminate them.
But even using that word, you do know that even using that word is offensive.
Thank you.
Well, sorry, my apologies about that, right?
Yes,
but I just saying, we know who was straight or not, whichever word I can use. I'm very sorry to offend anybody about the word. And I just say we respected them. I have gay friends right now. You know that.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you really had friends, you probably wouldn't have used that word. But anyway, go on.
Well, but see, I'm not even informed on which word to use.
Yes, but then they can't really be your friend because they would have told you already. Don't use that word.
Well, you let me know now. So
all right, no problem.
Sandy, I'm just saying it's a topic that really, I have had that experience, like what they were saying before, like someone ever understand that, they approached me and said, they liked me as a man and I said, I'm straight, I have a wife and so forth. But the individual will still on pursue, and that's not right.
Yeah. Well, have you ever had a straight woman pursue you, sir? Knowing that you were a married woman. So then, what's the difference?
And I tell her, I let her know.
And some of them,
my wife and my family,
listen to me. Some of them straight women pursuing a man can be relentless. Did I ever tell you the story about the one at Maples who was having an affair with a lawyer, and she actually went up in the man house trying on the wife's dresses, talking about this will soon all be mine? It don't make a difference if you're straight or exactly. It don't make a difference if you're straight or not. There's some people who just don't understand you're not interested in them, and no is no.
That's true. They pursued until I had to really get and tell them, so listen, sir, you cannot be doing this kind of stuff here, right? And they just never understood. It's just like a man going on to a woman, and then the man just don't give up.
Yeah, some of these men can't stop.
You have to know boundaries. Yes, we all are individuals here. We all working. We all have to know boundaries in life, right? With anything, right? If you're of the next sex or whatever, if you want to do this way or that way, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know which word to use right now or whatever. I'm sorry, but I just let you know. My point is that people need to respect one another. They need to respect each other.
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, of course. And then if I tell you, say that, I'm not about that, because I tell you I had a bad experience. This person, I don't want to call his name. I don't know if he's still here. It's a Spanish guy. He just went crazy for me. And about that. So I just say that
why you saying not the Spanish man?
Hey,
But you don't. Hello, caller. Hello. You don't know they got an extra bit of sauce, you know. The Spanish women too. They don't want to leave you alone.
You see what I mean? So at the end of the day, we just gotta respect one another. We got
put your point across.
Right.
They should have taken that as saying, you know what, this guy is straight. Just let it go and move on. There should be no more pursuing.
So and when you're saying about a gay man or would protect a woman from the other creeps and whatever is out there, that is true too. Of course. And you know, everybody. It's a choice that you make in life and what you want to do with yourself as a human being. And I, as an individual, I know I can't say for the whole Cayman Islands, but I respect everyone. Like I said, I have people of that nature. I have family members of that nature, and we have actually helped them, you know, feel loved.
Yes, thank you, caller. Appreciate it.
I really appreciate it.
And we do have another.
Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
You too.
And we do have another caller. Caller, before you get started, we have a comment here from Johan in the comment section. So Johan says, "Stop the nonsense. Gay people commonly use the word queer. So how is that offensive to them or anybody? You guys want to answer?"
I don't use the word queer.
Sandra, can I say no? I just want to say something, right? Because Sandra, there was a show you did a couple months ago. I think it might have been a year now or so, where one of your callers, who is a big advocate for weed, I don't need to call his name, you know who he is, right? He got up and he was making the point about queer and how his friends use the word queer and and you were making the point, unless you are a member of that community, you need to be very careful the words that you use.
Exactly.
Right? And I made the point.
That's like me using that's like me using the N-word. I can use the N-word as a person of color, but you can't use it if you're a white person because it comes across with a totally different vibe.
Offensive.
Well, again,
and I don't try to use it at all because I don't think it's not yet, honey child.
No.
We good.
No, what I wanted to say to that particular thing with Johan just commenting. I'll say the same thing that I said to thing. I mean, there are women who refer to each other as bitch in a friendly way.
Oh no, we still on radio, honey child, so you can't.
Oh,
just say the B word. Sorry, I didn't even catch it. But
they can call each other the B word, and they do it. I mean, wait, his name is Markson.
Yeah, Johan.
Would Markson be okay? Would Johan be okay with me randomly going up to his mother or his wife or any woman in his life and calling them the B word?
Nope, definitely not.
Well, exactly. So, I mean, when he's saying about people use it, I can use it. You're a caller and they can use it. Right, but
and to be clear,
have that rapport, you shouldn't be using that.
Yeah, and to be clear, I don't know how many good friends Johan have that might fall into LGBT community, but maybe when he says gay people commonly use the word,
they always have friends.
I know. It's like listen.
About, I have so many black friends.
Right. I was gonna say the same thing with race, right? It's like when somebody's prejudiced, the first thing they'd be, oh well, I've got a black friend. And you're like, really? You got one black friend? Do you really? Okay. So, but you know, I mean, how do you know that that's what gay people use if you're not even in the community? I'm pretty sure you're not hanging out with a bunch of gay people. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I mean, I remember one time, Sandy, when we first started this, there was a lady that wrote in that said that she came to the Cayman Islands for over 40 years. And, you know, she was upset and appalled by, you know, the gay community wanting to come out and the religion, this, that, and the next thing. And then she's mentioned to me that she had gay friends. And I said to her, I said, so if you don't have gay friends, as long as they stand in the back of the line behind you, do ask for equality in anything else. How does that work? And if you don't want to come out to the Cayman Islands because the LGBT community is now being accepted, then that's your problem, not mine. But you're not going to tell me that you got gay friends and it's okay to have gay friends as long as they stand behind you and can't stand side by side. That's not a friend. That's a hypocrite.
We do have another caller who's also joining the conversation. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Are you there? Ending in 0984. Honey Chow, you with us?
We won't bite.
I know. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if they accidentally called, but okay, I dropped that call. Yes. And I think that's an interesting point too, is that a lot of times we might, oh, they're calling back. Hold on. Let's see if they're paying attention this time. Yes, caller, we had you on before. Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can hear you now.
Auntie Sandy, it's me, Johan.
It's you. Hello, Johan.
Hi, Johan.
Morning, guys. How's it going? How's it going,
Good.
guys?
Great. How are you?
Listen, fantastic. Just calling in to say this much, right? Life is simple. You love who you love. You are who you are. That's just the way it is. To have a protracted debate on any of these issues, and I'll say this. I have gay friends. I've had a friend who...
Johan, is this you trying to save face now? I mean, I know that you're running in politics and stuff, but I mean...
I don't know. I don't know who you are, so who are you?
You don't need to know who I am. I know who you are.
No. If you're going to get cute, no. My track record...
No, I don't have to get cute. I stay cute.
Ooh, honey child.
No, you stay sweet. You stay sweet. There's a difference. There's a difference.
That's true. I guess you'd be a better judge of
well,
that
just answer the question, Johan. Your position has always been this, regardless of politics. That's all you got to say. It ain't got nothing to do with that.
My position has always been this.
Yes.
I've written pieces. I stood side by side with members of the gay community that are my friends. There is no shame in being gay. None whatsoever.
All right.
You are who you are. God made you that way. The
Mm-hmm.
point
Right.
is,
So why did you use the word queer, Johan?
He said he thought it was acceptable.
I get that point. Like, why did you use that?
He said he got outdated information.
Because my friends that are gay use the word queer and they use it in my presence, and your interpretation seems to be different from theirs, and so it isn't being defended by everybody.
You don't know me. You're talking on a radio show. You're talking on a radio show, addressing however many hundreds or thousands of things. Do you not think, Johan, that there's some words that are okay to use with your friends and not to use in such a public forum?
I would assume that there are, but if you would let me finish instead of being the expert on all things gay, that would probably help.
Well, I mean, he might have a right to be, but anyway.
I mean, no, but Sandra, he's because he's saying that he has friends and he can use these words. So, I mean, Johan, own your words. Like, you don't need to take offense. You said it. You said it. We challenge you.
This is why people struggle with being open-minded.
No, this is why people struggle with people like you. You want.
It's just communication here, fellas. It's just communication. Johan might have gotten it wrong.
He just needs to own it.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Sandra,
let's have Johan explain what his point is. Go ahead, Johan.
Yeah, please.
Sandra, there's a show on Showtime called Queer as Folk. Is that offensive?
Yeah, but
that's the title of a show.
That was a title of a show that was being done by gay, but it was being done by gay people. So
it's in the public. It's in the public domain. It's in the public domain. It's in mass distribution. Everybody that wants to watch it can watch it. And the title of the show is Queer as Folk. Help me.
By the way, that show been over for a minute now. You know. Well, all they're saying, I think all they're saying, Johan, is it's no longer like, I just had a member of the disabled community message me this morning and said, no, Sandy, the politically correct word isn't handicap, it's disabled. And I didn't mean any offense by it, and I'll just take it. I'm like, okay, I'll try to do better and use disabled.
And in the same vein, those of us that aren't active members of the community or don't understand the
so that's the point that they're trying to say, that don't take offense because
So Rohan, moving forward, then the correct word is
Johan. His name is Johan. Let's get his name correct, even though he can't get our title.
Lord Jesus. Oh my God. Somebody says I'm pissing myself laughing. The show was made several years ago.
No. It's not funny. It's the point is you have.
Well, sometimes you got to find humor in everything.
No, I can. Nobody makes fun of myself better than me. I can laugh at everything.
And somebody else. Let me just answer. Let me say this while you're here, Johan. Someone says if the acronym in LGBTQ, the Q represents queer, where's the offense in that? It actually now they've changed it, and this is where y'all not keeping up. The Q actually is most people tell you now for curious or questioning. So it's no longer even in the community. Queer. It's no longer queer. So you see, y'all don't know because you're not keeping up. But I'm just saying, it is what it is.
The energy that we spend on defending whatever, whether you're straight, gay, transgender, whatever, people just are people. And if they have the qualities that you are drawn to and you are friends and you understand the concept of love and respect, it doesn't really matter who they are, what color they are, so on and so forth.
But Sandra, I'd like to make a point here. I'd like to make a point here based on what Johan is saying, right? Because let's not get too off track and talk about how this thing came up. It was about people turning to drugs and people turning to all kinds of self-destructive and antisocial behaviors because they're not accepted in society. Correct? That was how that's part of this whole conversation.
So you turn to drugs because you're
saying,
potentially gay? Is that what you're alluding to?
No. What I'm saying is, Johan is saying that we should live and let live.
Well, let it. Okay, he's hearing you. He's hearing you. Let me put it this way. This is a communication issue. Men, listen up now. What you can say, caller, is you're understanding him to say. Put it that way as not to offend Johan, because boy, you men sure are thin skin, honey chill.
I am understanding Johan to say that live and let live.
Yes.
You don't need to protract this debate and thing. I thought that's what he was saying. He's now saying that that's not what, I don't know what he was saying. Anyway,
all right, well, that's what you understood. Go on.
That's what I understood. So, Johan, knowing that there is such a history behind that word, that word is a very loaded word.
Yeah.
Right?
And let me callers, hold on, the word queer. Hold on 1 second.
Queer.
This person, Nicole, just 1 second. Nicole puts it very, very clearly here. She says, everyone in Cayman knows that the word queer has historically been derogatory in Cayman.
Precisely.
And someone else made the point that in the context of, here's King. King says queer is offensive in the Caribbean. It has been reclaimed in other places like the UK.
Yep.
Lots of cultural differences to consider.
Okay, correct. I'm sorry that I'm not up to speed on what is offensive in a particular community. But
check your gay friends, my friend.
Yeah, I have gay friends, but that's what I explained to you. They have used the word queer in front of me openly, as we use other colloquialisms all the time, and it was never offensive. So I'm not in your company. We aren't friends. I don't even know one of the people on the phone that seems really comfortable to try and assume anything about me. All I was saying is everybody, like living in Cayman, in comparison to the rest of the Caribbean, if you're gay, it don't really matter. People, listen, we've known that people were different or gay, and they've never been subjugated to the heinous acts of
when you say that they're different, what do you mean they're different?
Oh, yeah.
They're no different. They're people, and just let them, as you say, just let them live.
Sandra, I'm really trying my best to listen to Johan, and he sounds like he's broadcasting from another planet. What do you mean no heinous thing has been done?
We have one in court right now where men were physically assaulted just because they were seen.
And still nothing.
Do we have a protracted history of where people are discriminated against?
Yeah.
Yes.
For years.
For
years.
And you're not
I guess the media aren't doing a good job of sharing all of that.
Let me be clear. We got 4 minutes left in this program. I want to say for everybody loud and clear, because I know we've got radio listeners who are tuned in who will be cut off in 4 minutes. But it's the reason why I can give this topic time and why we can have this conversation. You know, people are like, oh, we don't need to have this conversation. Cut this short. Yes, we do need to have this conversation. We've had some interesting dialogue here. People have been able to call in from different viewpoints. You know, we're all trying to be respectful of each other's viewpoint, whether we would agree with it or don't like it or whatever. But this conversation is very necessary. You talk about what media is doing and not doing. Tell me anybody else in Cayman, Johan, who has ever, any other talk shows have been around for donkey years, have ever had this conversation or even close to it.
But Sandra, that's why we listen to you. That's why we call into you. That's why I appreciate and respect what you do. The fact that you can facilitate this sort of thing. I think it's important to note to the other callers, to the two callers on the line, I'm not against you. I'm not against the community. I was just merely making the point that, hey, it don't really matter because people understand, if people are open-minded, and we're lucky enough to live in a community where that is in a country where that is largely the case.
Well, I wouldn't say that it's largely the case, though. I would not say it's largely the case. I would say, in fact, you're one of the few people, you're the only person this morning who's even called in to say that leave people alone, allow people to live and be who they are, and you're not a member of the community. Everybody else who's saying it is a member of the community. We have people right now. Let me say this to you, Johan, right? We've got people right now who, they're in church and they have daughters who are living overseas, who are, part of the community. They can't return to Cayman. And they will tell you, oh, I'm in church and, we're doing pastoral services, whatever. But I don't agree with the church's position on this at all. My daughter is gay and she can never return to her home country because of the discrimination that she would fear, she would face. And it is horrible. The only thing that let me put in context what you've just said, right? You say, oh, these people don't have nothing to worry about. The only thing that has ever gained mass protests in this country is around this issue of the LGBT community. Why is that? There's never been any protests in the streets of the Cayman Islands for the people, mostly straight people, who are molesting your children. We can't protest anything else in this country. The murder rate, the crime rate, everything's increasing. Nobody takes to the street to protest that. But anything comes up about the LGBT community, whether it's them wanting to have marriage or them wanting to have equal rights or whatever, everybody up and marching. So you can't think that there is, you can't think that they're not being discriminated against in this country.
Sandra, I just want to say, right? Okay, Johan, I tell you what. I think you and I got us on the wrong foot. I'll say this. I'm just asking, in order to, I've heard you, I've received what you've said. In order to build a better Cayman that is more accepting and stuff, I'm just asking, please refrain from using that word in such a public forum. If you and your gay friends, whoever they are okay with you using that word in your circle, fine. I can't tell you not to use it. I'm just saying that word is very loaded. Thank you.
No. Fair point. Fair point. And again, here's the thing. It does, there's so few Caymanians to begin with, right?
I was just gonna say, here we have had a come into Jesus moment as Caymanians.
We cannot be separated by sexual orientation, color, class, or any of those.
That's right. Or because you from Savannah, I from Georgetown. Exactly. There's too much. We have too much common ground to try to find the little things that separate us, right? As one people.
Too much time fighting amongst ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think this call wasn't to fight at all. I'm not fighting with anyone.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just generalizing.
No, you're right. But I just think that it doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. It doesn't matter if you're Cayman or not Caymanian. If this is your home, you should be able to live your life the way you choose to live your life, respectfully, and not be castigated or I don't know what the word is, or be condemned because you love who you love. That's your business. Yes. And as long as you are happy and as long as you are productive in your existence, that's all I'm saying. Because there's too many people that hide behind things, religious doctrine and everything else. But there are massive, massive closets that exist in the Cayman Islands. And all I was saying is I applaud each and every person who chooses to say, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to be. And to be brave in Cayman makes you a superhero. I have a friend, Shirley Ralston. If she called me right now and said, Johan, let's go bury a body, I'm not asking where we're going, I'm just asking what kind of garbage bag you need. All right? I love her to death. She should be a national hero for us. And all I'm saying is, your sexual orientation doesn't make you good, doesn't make you bad. It just makes you who you are. And we need to move past that because this is 2023. And who you're with and who you love and why, that's nobody else's business except for you.
No, it isn't.
So that's what I want
at the end of the day.
And apologies if we did start off on the wrong foot. All I'm saying is there's too few of us. Every Caymanian unite for a good cause to make this country what we want it to be for us. Because there's so few of us. We're in the minority in our own country. That's all I'm saying, Jen.
All right.
Very good. The reason why I actually called in, Sandra, was because I just wanted to underline the points of the other callers who've called in before. It is about boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we need to, as a community, and I'm talking specifically about the LGBT community, we need to hold ourselves to a standard.
Higher standard,
we are above reproach, right? Because in democracies, numbers matter. And when you're in a minority, you need to,
exactly,
for lack of a better word, behave yourself, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to be respected, you have to respect other people.
And let me say that principle translates not just to the LGBT community, but to anything,
community.
Right? So even as Black people, let's represent ourselves as proud and respectful individuals, not engaging. We're now off radio, so I can get a little bit more colorful here. So let me disconnect the radio connection. But we don't have to walk around acting niggerish, for lack of a better word sometimes, right? We're educated people. We are beautiful people on the inside and outside. We're principled people. All of these things, and it's always the minority that are like ghetto-ish and trying to be ghetto fabulous and want to do this dance hall lifestyle, that want to portray a certain image, right? That's not the large majority of people in the Caribbean or in the community, and we have to remember that. Same thing as Caymanians, as Caymanians, we are by and large good people. The people who are not, we not owning them. We're not gonna be like, oh, just because they're one of us, we're gonna be like, oh, ignore their bad behavior. No. And every single Caymanian should be setting the bar. I was saying this yesterday. We should be setting our standards for our own behavior as high as possible and not accepting it from anybody else.
And Sandra, I want to say something here. I personally, I've always heard people here saying, "Oh, they're not got no problem with, just don't bring it around me." And I would ask, what does that mean? What do you mean by that? And when you get to hear them talking, right, basically, it's they don't want their name, they don't want any boundaries to be crossed, right? So, I mean, it's and I have a good friend right now who, she had a boyfriend who she laid to rest a few years ago, and I will always remember him because whenever I was around her and he came around, I never discussed the topic with him, anything to do with LGBT around him, because I didn't want him to feel uncomfortable, especially in his own space, and because I showed him that respect. Right? He came to accept me around him. He came to accept me around, I guess his house, his girlfriend, that kind of thing. And we've even hung out together. And even though he's laid to rest, I still remember him for that. And I remember being verbally accosted over that issue from somebody. And that same person who's now laid to rest stood up for me. You understand? And for me, that taught me a lesson. Is like you have to respect others, and you have to respect boundaries.
Respect takes it a long way.
It goes both ways. It can't be just you stand up here and, oh well, I'm this, I'm that, I'm part of this community. Respect me, honor me. No, you have to show it first.
Yeah. This person says, just a comment that's coming on WhatsApp. This person says expats they said suggestive language is dangerous and divisive. Expats cause superlative language, is dangerous and divisive. Expats cause all troubles. Caymanians are lazy. She from West Bay, he from East End. Gay people that this and that. Church people this and that. Just making the point that we need to stop judging with a broad brush, because a lot of people are give them their right to be an individual. But I mean, we're all guilty of this, definitely to some extent, where we could sort of stop making broad statements about individuals. But it's so funny because in a lot of instances, broad statements, and this is how the human brain works, allows you to quickly assess a situation, especially when it's like fight or flight. Sometimes you're completely off the mark and sometimes you're completely correct and you're completely right. Like I'm walking down a dark alley, I pass a person of color. Oh my God, as a white person, because of my innate fears that have been embedded in my brain from a little girl, I'm going to be like, oh my God, no. But the vast majority of serial killers is not the Black man. It's the white guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's so many things that we do have embedded in us that are prejudices, that are misinformation, that are actually not accurate, not correct at all. And it takes a lot to sometimes come out of that and, educate yourself about people. And everybody wants to say, they've got a gay friend, I've got a Black friend, I've got that Caymanian friend, or yeah, I got an expat who's a friend. But do you really? And do you really engage with people coming from a position of honesty and non-judgment, and sometimes just really listening to people and listening to what it is that they have to say? So Ms. Brenda was questioning why you guys are getting so much time on air. She thought there was a time limit. There is no time limit. And what I would say is we have shifted to having several people on who they were engaging with each other. It was not just them talking for 10 minutes or 15 minutes by themselves, giving their opinion. And these individuals who are on now are happy to continue the conversation and happy to engage with each other. Alejandro got 2 phone calls this morning, which if you calculate the time between those 2, that adds up to the time that just these callers have been on. But they're happy to be on together and engage in each other. There is no time limit, but I think, it really comes down to how meaningful what you said is. And have you said it? Have you had an opportunity to say it? And people are like, okay, great. We know where he stands in that position. We really don't need to hear anymore.
Yeah.
And it's people, listen, there are tons of people. Let me just say this quickly. There are tons of people who, no one has said to me, oh, get these guys off the radio. There are tons of people when Alejandro was on earlier, after 6 minutes, they're like, okay, we get it, Alejandro. That's great. He couldn't add anything more to the conversation. That's why I was like, okay, you're into over 8 minutes now. Then you call back again. And yeah, so there is quite a difference in the flow there. But I just wanted to clarify that. Go ahead, caller.
There's a lot of stereotyping and stuff that's going on here badly. Because I remember last year, New Year's Eve, we were at Public Beach. And we didn't drive, so we took the purple bus, the ones that back to town, and they're dropping you to your districts and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we stop and we pick up these people that were from the UK. And the guy dropped us off at Windsor Park on Anthony Drive. You know what the lady first, her and her friend said? Oh, we're entering Windsor Park. Now we're going to be raped. And I was like, what? I wanted to say something, but everybody was like drinking a lot and stuff. Sure. I just didn't want it for it to escalate. But for her to be here as, an expat working on a permit and has that terminal, that mindset about different districts in Georgetown, where would she have gotten that from? I mean, I live in Windsor Park, but for her to sit there and says, oh, the bus going through Windsor Park now, so we can be raped. I mean, I took very much offense to that.
Yeah, wow. One other thing I want to, sorry, go on. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Novo.
All right. One other thing I wanted to say, Sandra, is that to all the listeners out there, including Miss Brenda. Sorry, Miss Brenda, we don't mean to be taking up so much time, but we're not a monolith, right? I mean, just because you had a bad experience with 1 or 2 doesn't mean that, everybody in the community needs to be painted in this broad brush, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't all agree. I mean, there's certain, I'm not going to call any names, there's certain prominent individuals within this community that I personally want nothing to do with because of where they stand on.
Just give me 1 quick second. I'm just going to add another caller to the conversation, and then you can continue. Go ahead, caller. Yeah, sorry. I was just going to let him finish up the point, and then we'll bring you in.
Yeah, so I was just saying that, the LGBTQ community is not a monolith. Everybody within the community is different. I'm really sorry for those out there who have had a negative experience with people from the LGBTQ community, but not everybody is that way. So I would ask, don't brush the whole community, everyone in the community with a broad brush. Get to know people for yourself, and you very rightly have a right to your boundaries. And if you find that somebody is invading your boundaries or not respecting your boundaries, that's a boundary issue. That's not an LGBT issue. That's just a person to do with not respecting your boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I really called in to say. Sorry I took up so much time, got caught up with Johan. Sandra, love the topic, love you, love what you do. Thank you so much for having the conversation on here.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. New caller. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandra.
Morning.
I haven't been able to follow because I've had meetings and in and out. I'm actually on the road now, so I'm hearing it again here. And one of the things that struck me, I've just heard snippets of different conversations, but the gist of it is how there's so many prejudices and what have you. And one thing I gotta say, having done a significant amount of traveling, and nowhere near as much as I want to do, I've been exposed to the different cultures and people and what have you. And what I did notice that I didn't have to go anywhere to find the gays and the LGBTQ community. You know, they're all here. They're all alive and well. They always been. They're basically, as the saying goes, hiding in plain sight. And what I find here, and this is I think anyway, in my opinion, from my travel experiences, generally speaking, the general public is emotionally immature, and especially when it comes to subjects such as this, the taboos. Like, they find it very difficult to discuss. I find the Eastern European countries a lot more open to having a public conversation without feeling uncomfortable. It's a stick your head in the sand mentality here and in a lot of places, including North America. You know, barring a few places that has a high concentration of gay folks. Now, I have gay family members. I used to be homophobic when I was in my teens. I had an altercation with one who made unwanted and overt sexual advances onto me, and he ended up becoming physically assaulted. And I never forget the feeling of feeling so horrible after having done so. But it was also, and the reaction, the only thing I did to console myself about it was the reaction was, oh, he did it in front of all of my friends, and it was so overt. There was a combination of, I don't like that, plus, humiliating me in front of my friends. Here's an actual immature reaction. So I've since apologized, and I've since tried to lead my life to where that doesn't happen, and I taught my kids that's not how you deal with it. And subsequently moved on to university. I've had advances on me, and I made it clear. I said, listen, we can be friends, but if you're misunderstanding our friendship for interest, it's not happening. That person to this day is a very dear friend of mine. And when they come down and visit, because they're actually local but live abroad, one of our own but lives abroad, we hang out. And then there's another one who's actually very feminine, and he was shocked. So he looked around when we got together. They were visiting, and they got together with some other friends and grabbed some lunch. And he looks around like somebody's gonna attack him. And I'm going, listen, what's going on? He goes, man, you know I'm gay, right? And I'm like, well, newsflash, dude, you walk around and you talk like a woman. Everybody knows you're gay. And he goes, well, that's not a problem for you. And I go, is it a problem for you? But nobody else will go to lunch with me like this unless it's my gay friends. And I'm like, well, that's their problem. My point is that we don't have the emotional maturity and self-respect, I guess. I don't know, to accept these sort of things. You cannot pretend like it doesn't happen and it is not existing on this island the way the churches want you to do it. I respect the church, the religious beliefs of somebody. I respect them to have that belief, but they need to respect that I don't share that belief. So, and they often preach all of these different things. They don't preach what the Bible tells them to practice, and then they wonder why they're losing congregation members. I see them right now. There's a big concert coming up here. This is all just, in my opinion, it's all a money grab, because I don't see the concerts to feed our homeless Caymanians or our destitute Caymanians or their, everything else. They just preach on hatred and division, and that comes from, in my opinion, a level of immaturity and refusal to be open. If you, as you have a child, Sandra, albeit one, you go to any kindergarten, you go to any playground, and you see infants, the ones who just learn to walk, and they're coming out and they're coming to social areas. Do you see any of them discriminate in color?
No, they learn it.
Or look?
All what we are taught as we grow up.
We teach our children to be racist. We teach our children to be xenophobic. We teach our children to be homophobic, and the list goes on and on and on. And this comes from unwillingness to at least consider that, not accept. And this is the problem. I get decried. I get verbally assaulted when I tell people you should at least consider, as if I told them they need to accept it. I'm not saying you need to accept it. I'm saying consider the other position and then think about what the implications or impact is on you.
Correct.
Right.
If it's not on you, then don't. If it's not affecting you, then don't bother with it.
Don't take it on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
And there's so many
what
of
I
us.
Will say,
yes.
What I will say, what one of the problems that we have with the quote unquote news and social media, both of those business models are based on clicks. So you don't get nowhere near the amount of clicks on a feel-good story as you do on a sensationalized story.
That's
so
true.
Unfortunately, to get a headline news of a drag queen who went to a school dressed in drag and was carrying on unruly, and now all of a sudden that's all.
Exactly. And that is not the that is nowhere near the majority of instances. I mean, even people who are in the trans world advocating for, certain types of books and materials to be in classrooms, that is not the majority of people. The majority of people in the trans community are like, children shouldn't have been, they agree that children shouldn't be exposed to certain material, and when they become an adult, then it's up to them what they want to read, or
Exactly. But Sandra, that's your point. And so, but the problem is the average person, and this has even happened with me, is unable to visualize or comprehend or understand that is a minority, because it's all that is being piped in through the algorithm or their TV station.
Well, not only that, let me say this as well. Not only that, but because innately that is that person's belief system, because what you click on is what the algorithm is going to feed you more of. So because that is their belief system, and they're clicking on those stories and they're reading those stories and they're believing those stories, Facebook is going to send you more and more of that same sort of propaganda.
Can I interject?
Yes.
Can I interject? Sir, caller, I just want to say to you, sir, that is for us as a community within the LGBT to hold ourselves to a higher standard. There was a person here, again, I'm not calling his name, but you know who he is, right? Was walking around talking about this whole trans thing and wanting to go into the schools and talking about trans this and trans that.
And he was but one voice.
But what I said, and I'll say this, I said this to that person directly. I, as a member of this community, don't feel comfortable with that. You want to know why? Because historically speaking, we in the community have been pilloried, and we have been made out to be, we're child molesters, we're this and that and da. So we in the community have to hold ourselves to a higher standard.
Because you're already going to be judged, right?
When that individual made the comment that he made a few years ago, the other caller on the call knows what I'm talking about. He knows how I identify.
Yes, I do.
Made the comment on Facebook or whatever it was, talking about
we're coming for you,
coming for all the children of the Cayman Islands. Why would you make such an inflammatory statement, knowing that people are already on edge with this topic, and especially when it comes to children? And I cut them out.
And the thing is, you have people who are sitting back waiting to say, "You see, I told you so," and you've just given them that "I told you so" moment.
So this gentleman who's now calling and talking about, clicks and things. Yes, you're right, sir. You have a minority within a minority who are being vocal and becoming visible in ways that they really have no business to. But that is for us as the members of the L to hold ourselves to that higher standard. No, we will not be going in anything. We will not be having drag shows. Drag shows are of a sexual nature, and children have no place, no part in that.
Those things,
And so let me just add the one thing that even despite my travels and my willingness to be open and accepting of anybody, no matter color, race, creed, or sexual orientation, the one thing that I will not buy into is pronouns and what have you, where part I need to address a man as a woman and a woman as a man. I just that's a line that I do draw, simply because I believe that to be a mental health issue. You can be gay and act like a man, and you can be gay and act like a woman. In terms of whichever sex you are. That does not make you a man if you're a woman, and that does not make you a woman if you're a man. Period. End of story. So now I also don't subscribe to, disrespecting them and calling them out. But if you come to me and I say, "Yes, sir, can I help you?" and they go, "Excuse me, I'm a man," I'm gonna be sorry. I'm not playing that game with you.
Yeah.
Now, if you're gay, that's fine, and I'm not judging you for that. But don't ask people to pretend that you are what you're not.
Yeah.
That part I don't go. So that's where I think there's that level of ridiculousness, and again, that's also a minority that has been given the majority of the media coverage, which therefore, by default, becomes the impression of by the general public that this is the majority. And this is the problem that we have, that nobody is filling in this narrative to say, out of this percentage, such and such a study shows that the people who act and are doing these things are X amount of percent of the overall population and X amount of percent of the LGBTQ community. They don't do any of that because it does not sell advertisements. And with that, folks, I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. And we do
appreciate it.
Yeah, and we do have to go. I've actually got a service call coming in just a few minutes for something that I urgently need to work on. So thank you so much to all of the callers that called in today and shared their viewpoints and opinions. Thank you both. Thank you to that call and all the previous callers. Thank you, everyone. Listen, at the end of the day, folks, we do not have to agree on every single thing. We can agree to disagree. We can share our opinions respectfully, and we can just keep it moving, as I like to say. I think that, what I like to try to get people to do is agitate for misinformation to be done away with. Talk to each other, talk to people. Everybody who says, oh, I have a gay friend, I'm like, chances are they probably are not your friend, because some of the things I hear you guys saying out of just pure ignorance means that you've really not had a very meaningful conversation with your so-called gay friends. Asking them about what nail polish you could get because you're a woman, you think all gay men are into fashion and nails. Again, you're just missing the point entirely. So have real meaningful conversations with people from all over the spectrum, because you'd be surprised to know that there's a lot of people in the community who don't fit your stereotypes. They're not what you think. They're very, very intelligent, hardworking individuals. And a lot of people, you would not even know that they're gay if they didn't tell you. So, thank you guys so much for the conversation. I hope that we can continue to be tolerant of one another. I'm not comfortable with the conversation of, oh, well, they're targeting our children, because I know for a fact that the vast majority of people have no interest in targeting anybody's child. I did see Nicole's comment saying that what children need is a safe place where they can express themselves if they're having any questions or any doubts, their gender identity issues or whatever, that they can basically get those answered in a safe environment with proper answers, as opposed to, them even being afraid to share that they're feeling a particular way. So Al says, what is a mental health issue is your disproportionate hyperfixation on the community and using hateful anecdotal experiences as fact. I'm not sure who he was speaking to, but whoever the cap fits.
Talking to you, Sandra.
I don't think he's speaking to me.
That was directed to you.
And using hateful anecdotal experiences as facts. Al, you cleared to. I don't think he's talking to me.
Call him out, but I'll call him out.
No. I don't think that's what Al's saying at all. Al, I guess you can clarify if I'm misreading it, because he's not talking to me. No, he says, bro, not even directed at you. No, he's not talking to me. No. No. Al is not. He's not that kind of person. Trust me. Yeah, that's not what he's saying. Al is he believes in live and let live and accept people. That's not Al. So I don't know exactly who he was talking to, but anyway, it wasn't me. I'm not going to take offense to it because I know it ain't me. The cap not fitting on my head. My head too small for that cap. I could take one out of Bernie Bush's playbook. The cap too.
Oh, Lord.
the cap is too small. No, what did he say? The cap would be too big for my head, because that's what he said. Right? It was too big for his BB. Yeah. Okay. Gotta make sure I got the analogy right. Anyway, on that note, folks, I gotta go. I got an important phone call that I must get on here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm glad that we can, as Caymanians, have these conversations. We have some points of clarity today, and that is very, very meaningful. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Andy.
All right. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.